不能，你说你一切准备完毕了。
报告首长，我说的不能是，我能保证我们这一方不出纰漏，但不敢保证试验主持方那边就不出啊。
什么试验主持方？我们才是试验主持方。
那太好了。
出场顺序排出来没有？
排出来了，
拿来我看看。
是。首长，
明天你还是要第一个上。
是的，我是第一试飞员，他是大队长。
首长，我正想向您报告，我反对。
你反对什么？明天只是试验，又不是飞。
虽然明天只是试验，却是我们试飞大队的第一次出击。在战事上，出战往往是形成惯例的开始。
你是怕他有了第一次，以后每次都第一个上？
是的，首长。大弟他不是一般的飞行员，他更是大队长，是指挥员。
接受你的意见，但是明天他还是要第一个上。至于以后，
首长，我正要向您请示，我想从明天开始，按照我们的需求和状态，自主安排试飞顺序。请首长最好不要再插手，可以吗？
首长，这个不可以。
这个当然不可以。我不是每天都要插手你们的事情，正常情况下，你可以自主安排，但是你每次都要第一个上，还是需要向我报告。
是，
我走了，我和张司令还要到基地去看一下。你跟着我干什么？慎重出战。慎字怎么写？一个心字，一个真字，真用心了才叫慎。今天晚上要好好的想一想，把事情考虑得更周密一些，困难想得更多一些。到了明天，千万不要给我掉链子，万无一失，滴水不漏，不能光嘴上说。
是。
大兄，你把你女朋友画的有多漂亮，你就把这个动力问题给我画的有多棒。
全体起立！首长同志，海军舰载机实验室飞基地特种装备保障大队全队官兵正在休息，请您指示。队长，您改。
调起。
是，不对。
正在休息，不像啊。这么晚了，怎么还不睡啊？
首长，我们就是在休息，我们边学习边休息。
你们在向外军学习航母甲板上的指挥手语？
是的，首长。我就实话跟您说吧，我们呀想睡也睡不着，所以就找了一段外军航母甲板勤务工作人员执行勤务航的视频。我们呢边看边学，将来我们上了航母以后，一定能用得出来。
首长，航母这东西我们都没有搞过，不光是舰载机怎么起怎么落是个难题，就连甲板怎么手语我们也都不知道该怎么用，都是大部队上校头一回啊。所以说，只能发挥他们自己的聪明才智，向外军学习，搞出一套具有中国特色的甲板折射仪。
向外军学习，既要实事求是，还要有所创新。是，更要适合我军的军情。
是。
正在直播的中国新闻。本周，中方向联合国全球网络安全常设机制首次会议提交了中国关于数字时代全球网络治理的立场文件。对此，中国外交部发言人林健在今天的例行记者会上介绍，文件阐释了中方对数字时代全球网络治理的最新立场和主张。
文件倡导尊重各国数字主权，共促普惠发展。各国有权基于国情，自主选择包括人工智能在内的数字技术发展路径，有权自主选择人工智能技术、产品和服务，不应被胁迫选边站队。这是继网络主权后，中方就全球网络治理提出又一重大原则。中方愿同各方加强合作，推动全球网络空间国际秩序朝着更加公正、合理、有效的方向发展，共同构建网络空间密不模式。
针对澳大利亚外长黄英贤涉中国南海和中国导弹试射的有关言论，中国外交部发言人林健在今天的例行记者会上表示，有关国家不是南海问题的当事方，无权介入当事国间的涉海问题。
中方已就非方人员恶意攻击中方的执法阐明了严正立场。有关国家无视非方侵权挑衅的基本事实，无端攻击、指责中国，持续翻炒非法无效的所谓南海仲裁案裁决，中方对此坚决反对。在中国和东盟国家的共同努力下，当前南海局势总体稳定。非方蓄意侵权挑衅，是导致海上紧张的根源。
林健表示，有关国家不是南海问题的当事方，无权介入当事国间的涉海问题。明眼人都看得出，海上一有风吹草动，无论青红皂白，就大张旗鼓跳出来反对中国的，始终就是那么一小撮国家。他们的目的究竟是维护南海和平稳定，还是唯恐南海不乱，早已不言自明。
中方奉劝有关国家停止血腥紧张、挑动对抗，切实尊重敌对国家为维护南海和平稳定所做的努力。中方将继续依法坚定维护自身利益和权益，继续与有关当事方通过对话协商妥处涉海分歧，同东盟各国到全面有效落实区域推进双方共同维护稳定。
林健还强调，关于有关的试射活动，中方多次阐明立场，这是中国军队例行性的军事训练活动，不针对任何特定国家和目标，事先已向包括澳大利亚在内的国家做出了通报，符合国际法律和国际惯例。央视记者报道。
对于菲律宾近日在仁爱礁蓄意挑衅、暴力袭击中方指控，事后还翻飞炒作，海外事部门竟然附和称谴责大陆使用武力伤人。对此言论，国台办发言人批评民进党当局丧失民族立场，附和外部势力混淆是非，再次暴露了其数典忘祖、以外谋独的邪恶本质。
发言人强调，关于菲律宾在仁爱礁蓄意挑衅、袭击中国海警执法人员一事，有关部门已第一时间阐明了事实真相，公布了现场画面，并向菲方提出了严正交涉。仁爱礁是中国南沙群岛的一部分，是中国领土。
民进党当局丧失民族立场，附和外部势力混淆是非，攻击抹黑大陆，再次暴露了其数典忘祖、以外谋独的邪恶本质。
针对赖清德在民进党全代会上再次鼓吹两岸互不隶属等分裂言论，大肆渲染大陆对台的威胁，国台办发言人今天批评赖清德已经成为台湾之害，民进党已经成为最大的迫台团体。
赖清德在民进党全代会上大放厥词，大言不惭，讲话通篇充斥着 敌意与冲撞，谎言与蓝言，偏执与狂妄，再次暴露其台独立场冥顽不化，滋事挑衅，激进冒险，害台毁台，一意孤行，充分证明赖清德、民进党是破坏两岸关系稳定和台湾社会安宁的祸根。
发言人说，近10年，民进党当局一门心思以外谋独，以武谋独，导致台海形势日益紧张动荡。此次赖清德讲话中再度宣扬台独分裂谬论，鼓吹两岸互不隶属，猖狂挑战一个中国原则，彻底撕下其所谓没有台独问题的伪装，露出台独工作者的本来面目。
简而言之，赖清德已经成为台湾之害，民进党已经成为最大的祸台团体。不管台湾地区以什么方式选举，选了什么人，都改变不了台湾是中国一部分的地位，都割裂不了两岸同属一个中国的历史和法理连结，都打破不了台湾前途只能由包括台湾同胞在内的全体中国人民共同决定的铁律。
根据美国中央司令部美东时间21号晚及伊朗当地时间22号凌晨发布的消息，美军连续第11晚对伊朗目标发动打击。在伊朗首都德黑兰，当天防空系统也连续启动。有关当前局势的更多情况，来看总台记者从德黑兰发回的报道。
现在是当地时间22号的上午11点30分，北京时间的16点，我正位于伊朗首都德黑兰。22号凌晨，美国对伊朗境内的一系列地点发动了军事打击，这也是美军连续第11晚发动此类行动。据统计，伊朗南部霍尔木兹干省、西南部的布什尔省、胡吉斯坦省、西部的科尔曼沙阿省、伊拉姆省、西北部的东阿塞拜疆省等多个省份的多地均遭到了打击。美方表示，本次打击旨在继续削弱伊朗在霍尔木兹海峡地区的能力。截至目前，伊朗暂未披露人员伤亡和财产损失情况。值得关注的是，在22号凌晨，我们也拍摄到了伊朗首都德黑兰防空系统连续启动的画面。接近伊朗军方的努尔新闻网表示，此举是为了应对入侵德黑兰的敌对目标。目前，伊朗暂未就德黑兰防空系统启动的相关情况进行信息披露。22号凌晨，伊朗军方发表声明称，为回应敌人再次侵犯伊朗部分地区，伊朗军队出动大批的自杀式无人机，对美军位于科威特西部多哈营地内的弹药库以及陆军指挥中心的后勤装备实施袭击。此外呢，在军队稍早前发布的另一份声明中指出，伊朗军队对约旦阿斯拉克基地内的美军房屋和装备仓库，对巴林谢赫伊萨美国空军基地内的大型装备仓库和飞机维修车间发动了袭击。此外，针对美国称或将袭击伊朗核设施的言论，22号凌晨，伊朗哈塔姆安比亚中央司令部发表声明称，如果美军真的采取行动，伊朗将视其为地区战争的扩张，美国及其盟友的所有利益都将成为伊朗武装部队强力打击的目标。根据我在伊朗的观察，目前伊美新一轮冲突暂无缓和迹象，而双方围绕霍尔木兹海峡的博弈也导致整个中东地区的安全局势持续动荡。伊朗国际问题专家沙里夫·霍达伊表示，鉴于美国和伊朗之间有着根深蒂固的不信任，以及来自以色列方面的压力和美国国内的政治问题，导致伊美利用谈判缓和局势的方式具有局限性和脆弱性。他认为，应对此类局面，伊朗可以选择以下几条路径：第一，保持战略威慑，并与美国达成有限协议，以缓和紧张局势，对危机进行管控；第二，对美国的各类举措进行积极反制，增加伊朗的谈判筹码，但同时也可能增加爆发新冲突的风险；第三，将外交手段与军事威慑相结合，在持续威慑的同时，继续与美国进行分阶段可核查的谈判。以上就是我在伊朗带来的观察。总台记者李建南，伊朗德黑兰报道。
据美国《华尔街日报》21号报道，有以色列和美国官员透露，以色列情报部门认为，去年6月美以军队打击伊朗3大主要核设施之后，伊朗于去年秋季将数千台铀浓缩锂芯机转移至高山地下核设施。以色列已将这份情报提供给了美国。报道还称，以色列和美国的战争目标不同。以色列总理内塔尼亚胡一直试图劝说美国总统特朗普重启对伊朗的全面打击，从而进一步阻碍伊朗的相关武器发展计划和重建工作。对于相关报道，伊朗及国际原子机构目前都没有做出回应。 美国总统特朗普21号在白宫会见到访的黎巴嫩总统奥恩时，对外表称，伊朗或许已将离心机转移至高山地下核设施，美国认为很快将对其进行猛烈。
Follow the material, that's where the action is. And we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon, and very heavily.
特朗普还称，伊朗方面迫切想要会面，但在他们准备好进行有实质意义的会面之前，美方不打算进行会谈。
有关伊朗搞山地下核设施的更多情况，我们通过一个短片来了解一下。
搞山地下核设施位于伊朗中部伊斯法罕省，距离纳坦兹铀浓缩设施附近约1.6公里，被认为是伊朗最坚固的地下核设施之一。据美国《纽约时报》报道，此前纳坦兹核设施曾在2026年初的梅以1战事以及2025年6月的冲突中遭到过打击。而根据美国科学和国际安全研究所的信息，搞山海拔约1615米。其核设施位于山体下方超过90多米处。《纽约时报》援引专家的话报道称，搞山地下核设施自2020年以来一直在建设中，但尚未投入使用。有卫星图像显示，在2025年6月的战事之后，该设施的建设仍在继续。近期，该设施周边修建了安全墙，一些入口也得到了加固，可能是为了防范未来的袭击。综合卡塔尔半岛电视台以及《纽约时报》的报道，搞山地下核设施拥有2座深埋地下的隧道群。另外，有伊朗官员2020年曾称，将在搞山建设一座离心机工厂。美国有线电视新闻网报道称，据以色列消息人士透露，以色列情报部门认为，伊朗将部分浓缩铀库存以及先进的离心机转移到了搞山地下核设施。对于潜在的针对搞山地下核设施的打击，《纽约时报》援引专家的话报道称，这一核设施埋藏极深，即使是美国威力最强大的钻地炸弹，也可能无法奏效。卡内基国际和平研究院核政策项目负责人詹姆斯·阿克顿表示，要有效打击搞山这样的深层地下设施，需要使用核武器，而美国在打击中不会使用核武器。他指出，美国可以攻击并摧毁该设施的隧道入口，但这并不能改变战局。美国科学和国际安全研究所方面则指出，出动地面部队攻击和破坏搞山核设施是更合适的选择。然而，美军要深入伊朗中部才能抵达搞山，并且部队可能在途中遭到伊朗地面火力的攻击，抵达后也可能面临无人机和导弹的打击。
近期，美国总统特朗普已经2次点名伊朗的搞山地下核设施。搞山在伊朗众多核设施中有何特殊作用？为什么特朗普反复提起？来看特别评论员苏晓辉的解读。
美国总统特朗普近期2次点名伊朗搞山地下核设施，并且威胁很快会发动袭击。对于这一处核设施，伊朗方面没有更多的细节透露。根据以色列的情报和美国方面的反应，我们其实可以看到，搞山地下核设施它只是疑似保有伊朗潜在的核能力。说到这一处设施，此前并不广为人知，这也并不是伊朗主要的核设施。在去年的12日战争和今年的美伊冲突当中，美以都没有打击这一处目标。这一处核设施是位于纳坦兹，在纳坦兹核设施附近。根据伊方的说法，是因为2020年纳坦兹核设施发生了事故，所以伊朗需要新建核设施来生产离心机的组件，这就是搞山地下核设施。那么近期以色列提供了更多的情报，认为伊朗已经将离心机和浓缩铀移至这一处设施，使这一处设施成为打击目标。对于乙方的情报，美国目前没有完全确认。即使美国总统特朗普在面对媒体的时候也称相关的信息，美方目前是无法予以确认的。在这样的一种背景之下，我们看到搞山地下核设施只是疑似保有一定的能力，而从多方的分析来看，这一处设施深埋地下，很难通过军事行动来彻底摧毁。 即使有这样的一个背景，但是近期美国接连点名威胁要发动军事行动，某种程度是受以色列的影响。以色列提供的不仅仅是情报信息，而是一再催促美国必须要针对伊朗的核计划，认为此前美国希望和伊朗停火并且达成协议的这种想法是不切实际的，只有通过军事行动才能够实现目标。而另外一方面，我们也注意到，对于美国总统特朗普本人来说，近期当美伊冲突升级，美国面临更大挫败，霍尔木兹海峡通行问题未能解决的情况之下，美国再次聚焦核问题，某种程度是希望吸引国内的注意力，也是在强调，在外交进程当中，美国一直强调核问题的解决，美国要落实自己的目标，那么不排除动用军事手段。所以目前美国准备对相关核设施来发动打击，不断的进行威胁，既是试探伊朗方面的反应，也反映出美国在军事战略方面的考虑。
美国国防部21号发表声明说，自2月底美国和以色列对伊朗发动大规模军事行动以来，美军死亡人数升至18人。美国总统特朗普21号证实，自伊朗战事爆发以来，已有18名美军人员丧生。最新伤亡包括过去几天在伊朗对约旦及伊拉克美军基地发动的袭击中遇难的4人。据美国有线电视新闻网报道，尽管调解方已提出一项新的为期10天的美伊停火提议，由于特朗普日前警告，因近日的美军伤亡将对伊朗实施强力报复，美官员普遍对总统接受该方案的前景持保留态度。
美国国防部长赫克塞斯21号表示，根据五角大楼最新估算，美国对伊朗战争花费已达375亿美元。据美国媒体报道，越来越多的民调数据显示，伊朗战事在美国民众中引发反感的程度已飞速达到越南战争和伊拉克战争的同等水平。赫克塞斯当天在美国会参议院拨款委员会听证会上作证时称，追加对伊战争拨款紧迫且必要，否则我们将面临严重的资金缺口。听证会期间，抗议者多次打断赫克塞斯发言，在其开场陈述开始后不久，抗议者便高声指控其轰炸伊朗儿童，并称他双手沾满鲜血。
As you know, we live in a dangerous world that requires bold and swift action. Hence, this supplemental request for fiscal year 2026. This request is an urgent, necessary injection of resources to address the immediate needs of our department.
美国国内对这场战事的反弹正在加速。据美国有线电视新闻网20号报道，最新发布的《华盛顿邮报》和伊普索集团民调结果显示，68%的受访者认为伊朗战事不值得打，28%认为值得，两者之间40个百分点的差距已超过此前对伊拉克战争和阿富汗战争的类似民调。在《华盛顿邮报》和美国广播公司联合进行的另一项民调中，美国和以色列2月28号对伊朗发起军事行动后不到2个月，就有超过60%的受访者认定这场战争是个错误。这一速度之快，远超越南战争和伊拉克战争。据德国《世界报》网站21号报道，也门胡塞武装控制的萨巴旅社发布消息，胡塞武装称，作为其宣布的封锁期的一部分，已迫使该地区的6艘船只返航。
据萨巴通讯社报道，在胡塞武装发出警告后24小时内，有6艘船返航。目前尚无独立消息来源证实此事。萨巴通讯社也未具体说明这些船只具体是在哪里掉头返航的。另据路透社21号报道，当天3艘载有沙特阿拉伯原油的油轮在红海掉头驶往苏伊士运河。也门胡塞武装与伊朗关系密切，并与沙特支持的也门政府长期对峙。也门胡塞武装20号宣布对沙特实施海上禁运，且立即生效。沙特主导的多国联军随后表示，已采取措施保护成员国船只安全通行曼德海峡，并将坚决回应胡塞武装的任何威胁。由于霍尔木兹海峡被封锁，沙特目前通过一条从本国东部通往海上全部的路出口大部分石油。倘若曼德海峡完全关闭，沙特将无法对亚洲国家出口石油，全球石油供应量可能减少7%。 美国总统特朗普21号在白宫会见到访的黎巴嫩总统奥恩时表示，如果也门胡塞武装封锁红海，美国将采取行动。不过，路透社分析指出，对美国军方而言，情况远非那么简单。胡塞武装以作战顽强、行动灵活著称，曾多次抵御沙特和美国的空袭。与之交战意味着美军需在打击伊朗和维持对伊朗港口封锁之外，再开辟第二战线，导致本已集中的资源被分散。前五角大楼高级官员坎贝尔指出，这相当于将地区内可观的军事资源同时投入2个活跃战场。胡塞武装的介入正是这场战争持续升级的又一例证，进一步加剧了美总统的政治困境。同时，若美军舰机开始频繁拦截胡塞无人机和导弹，专家担忧的弹药及防空拦截弹库存紧张问题也将雪上加霜。
阿拉伯国家联盟阿盟秘书长法赫米21号重申阿盟对沙特阿拉伯的坚定支持，呼吁也门胡塞武装停止发表升级冲突的言论，避免采取任何可能加剧地区紧张局势的行动。法赫米强调，沙特阿拉伯的安全、领土完整是阿拉伯国家安全体系不可分割的部分。阿盟坚定支持沙特为维护自身安全和领土完整所采取的一切合法措施。法赫米特别强调，坚持对话，尊重地区和国际社会为全面政治解决也门危机所做的努力，是实现也门及地区安全稳定的唯一途径。
也门胡塞武装20号宣布对沙特阿拉伯实施海上禁运，且立即生效。当晚，胡塞武装警告国际航运公司称，与沙特港口开展贸易往来的船只可能面临军事打击，进一步扩大了其此前宣布的针对沙特的海上禁运范围。分析人士认为，胡塞武装此番威胁是其与沙特长期积怨的体现，也是目前美国与伊朗激烈交锋下
一方面，在也门面的问题上，胡塞武装和沙特争论已久。胡塞武装此次威胁海上禁运，有着向沙特施压、谋求更多话语权、加强自身在也门实际控制的考量。另一方面是为策应伊朗与美国对抗。路透社上周援引消息人士透露，伊朗已经要求胡塞武装做好准备，一旦美军对伊朗基础设施发动打击，胡塞武装就封锁世界海峡。消息人士还表示，胡塞武装已在引进万国海无人机，专家称，伊朗一直将胡塞武装作为雪藏的底牌，双方可联手打造霍尔木兹海峡与万德海峡双峡联动的反陆路，维持美国进行美国的能源路线和供应链问题，这使美国在升级第一军事行动线全国经济为重点。不过，地区专家认为，胡塞武装对沙特的禁运威胁未必会完全实施。也门政治分析人士纳吉认为，胡塞武装并非要在军事上与沙特一决高下，更多是为了在也门问题上增加与沙特的谈判筹码。沙特目前也保持克制，并未寻求升级军事行动。与此同时，胡塞武装与沙特的互动也受伊朗与沙特关系变化的影响。沙特利雅得政治和战略研究中心研究员沙巴尼认为，当前沙特和伊朗都致力于缓和受美伊战事冲击的双边关系。两国在也门等地区问题上存在分歧，但都有通过外交沟通管控局势的意愿，这或为避免胡塞武装与沙特之间的对抗升级提供条件。
伊拉克民兵武装伊斯兰抵抗组织和也门胡塞武装20号分别就地区局势发表了声明。相关表态对中东地区局势会造成什么样的影响？来看总台记者发回的观察报道。
在过去1年多的时间当中呢，海湾局势可以说是接连出现了2个非常值得关注，同时也是十分危险的信号。一方面呢，伊拉克民兵武装，也就是伊斯兰抵抗组织，在20号就发表声明说，如果美国方面继续扩大对于伊朗的军事行动，该组织呢就将直接参战，并把整个地区内所有美国的利益和军事基地列为打击的目标。而另外一方面呢，也门方面，也门胡塞武装就宣布对沙特实施海上封锁。沙特方面是已经宣布将加强对曼德海峡的航运保护。对 对此呢，就有分析表示说，尽管目前的这些表态在现阶段主要还是以威慑为主，但是如果这些武装力量真正扩大了介入，势必对于整个的局势造成复杂的一个影响。那么伊拉克民兵武装事实上是具备着利用火箭弹和无人机袭击伊拉克、叙利亚，甚至是海湾地区的美军基地的这样一个能力，而这会迫使美军呢分散防空的力量和军事的资源，面临更多战线的同时作战。那么不仅如此呢，在霍尔木兹海峡整个的通航已经严重受阻的这样一个情况下，胡塞武装向曼德海峡施压，将会使得沙特等国原本通过从东向西的这样一个输油管线转向红海出口的替代线路面临着风险。那么即使胡塞武装不实施袭击，发出封锁威胁这样一个本身，也足以会推高航运的保险和安全的成本，并且迫使大量的船只绕行。分析人士还表示，民兵武装的指挥链条相对来说比较分散，袭击的主体呢又经常难以确认，一旦侵犯了美军或者他的直属盟友出现重大的伤亡，就有可能导致美军方面的直接报复，并推动伊朗等方面进一步扩大回应。那么冲突呢由此就可能进入一个螺旋式的上升的这样一个状态，并逐步演变成为跨国多战场以及更加难以控制的这样一个地区战争。而这也是很多地区内的国家不愿意看到的局面。总台记者阿联酋迪拜报道。
黎巴嫩安全部门消息人士和当地目击者21号证实，在以色列军队撤离黎南部的一个村镇后，黎巴嫩军队当天已开始进驻该镇，并自主美国国务院20号发表消息说，以色列军队在黎巴嫩南部适用区域的撤军行动当天在黎南部的3个村镇启动。声明表示，该试点区域撤军行动是根据美黎3方框架协议，并在3方协调小组的主持下行动。这是以色列和黎巴嫩4号在意大利国会会议的直接处理。
当地21号，美国总统特朗普在白宫会见黎巴嫩总统奥恩。特朗普表示，美方愿为黎巴嫩提供帮助，包括审查黎武装部队在以军撤离后接管试点地区村镇的相关进展，以及解决离真主党问题。如果黎巴嫩总统奥恩希望，他愿意与真主党对话。另外，在会谈结束后，特朗普在社交媒体发文称，他已指示美国政府允许所有美国航空公司直飞黎巴嫩，从而解除已实施40余年的禁令。俄罗斯国防部22号通报称，自当天凌晨起，俄军打击了乌克兰敖德萨地区的多个目标，还摧毁了乌军海王星岸基导弹系统的一个发射阵地。同一天，乌方通报称，继续在黑海和亚速海打击俄方船只。
俄罗斯国防部通报称，21号夜间至22号凌晨，俄军防空系统在多地共击落242架乌克兰固定翼无人机。俄军22号打击了乌克兰敖德萨地区的多个目标，其中包括用于存储军事物资的港口基础设施和两艘轮船、燃料存储设施，市区内用于存储军用物资的物流中心。此外，还摧毁了乌军海王星岸基导弹系统的一个发射阵地。另据俄罗斯多地政府行政部门和紧急情况部门22号通报，乌方无人机袭击了克拉斯诺达尔和斯塔夫罗波尔边疆区的物流中心。此外，位于克拉斯诺达尔边疆区的一家能源企业遭到无人机袭击，并发生火灾。乌克兰武装部队总参谋部发布，截至22号早晨8点战况信息称，过去一天前线地区发生219次战斗。此外，乌克兰防空系统击落或拦截俄军的3枚导弹和204架无人机。乌方还称，过去48小时内，乌军无人机袭击了黑海和亚速海海域共13艘为俄军服务的船只。乌克兰总统泽连斯基22号在其官方社交平台通报称，乌军当天对俄罗斯多个目标实施远程打击，包括物流中心以及一座油库。他还表示，乌克兰已经向俄罗斯方面提出了所有建议，并呼吁推动俄方转向外交途径解决冲突。另据报道，乌克兰武装部队总司令瑟尔斯基22号在其官方社交平台发表声明，宣布卸任乌军总司令职务，并总结了其任内工作。他表示，在其指挥下，乌军今年收复了700平方公里。 乌克兰总统泽连斯基21号晚在社交媒体发文称，他决定由米哈伊尔·德拉帕特接替亚历山大·瑟尔斯基出任乌武装部队总司令。分析人士指出，乌克兰军事领导层正在经历2022年俄乌冲突爆发以来最大规模的人事调整。
泽连斯基说，当天他与德拉帕特、乌代理国防部长叶夫根尼·赫马拉、乌总统办公室副主任帕维尔·帕利萨讨论调整乌武装部队总参谋部人员，共同确定了武装部队总参谋部的调整方案。22号将正式敲定所有决定。现年43岁的德拉帕特属于乌克兰新生代军官。2022年俄乌冲突爆发后，他作为前线指挥官声名鹊起，专注于战术创新、无人机协同运用以及落实直接问责机制。普通士兵和军事改革派大多对他评价颇高。泽连斯基15号撤换35岁的国防部长费奥多罗夫。费奥多罗夫16号证实了他同瑟尔斯基之间的冲突。乌克兰多地从16号开始爆发抗议活动，抗议民众力挺费奥多罗夫，要求泽连斯基调整政策路线，并再次认可费奥多罗夫提出的观点：未来战争将越来越多地由无人机与机器人主导。此外，抗议者还认为，在费奥多罗夫被撤换后，瑟尔斯基会不断装行。分析人士认为，在许多乌克兰人看来，费奥多罗夫代表着依靠科技取胜、有望减少人员伤亡的道路，而瑟尔斯基则逐渐成为残酷消耗战的化身。随着抗议活动不断升级，人们最终意识到乌克兰军方在科技派与传统派之间深层裂痕。当地时间21号，俄罗斯现总统新闻秘书佩斯科夫表示，欧盟和北约多项总统公开表示有意向乌克兰部署军队。对俄罗斯来说，这种行为绝对不可接受。事实上，俄罗斯开展特别军事行动的原因，正是为了防止外国军队进入乌克兰领土。此外，佩斯科夫还表示，俄军将继续对为乌克兰运输设备、武器和其他物资的船只实施打击。
美国总统特朗普21号在社交媒体上发文说，从今年8月1号起，美国在未来2年将继续对所有进口仿制药免征关税。第3年，仿制药将适用100%的进口关税。从第4年起，仿制药进口关税将升至200%。特朗普称，此举旨在推动仿制药生产回流美国，并惩罚未在规定期限内在美国建造跑道和设备的企业。美国对专利药、品牌药和创新药的政策将保持不变。据媒体报道，仿制药企业因利率低和依赖全球制造网络，难以吸收高关税成本。相关措施一旦实施，预计将对主要仿制药出口国构成严重冲击。加拿大总理卡尼21号表示，如果美国对加拿大特定商品加征50%关税真的生效，加方将考虑所有回应选项。
卡尼说，他已与美国总统特朗普通电话，双方同意在未来几周加紧贸易谈判。加拿大已提出一系列详尽提议，以解决与美国的贸易争端。卡尼重申，加拿大首要目标是关注自身可控因素，即增强国内实力、购买本国商品以及推动国际合作伙伴多元化等。
As always, Canadians, governments, business, labor will stand together to build Canada strong and to have a trading relationship with our North America.
卡尼说，加方的核心诉求是达成全面协议。加方理解美方针对战略产业的立场，但加方不想要局部协议，希望将对加方经济最为关键的铝业、林业、钢铁、汽车等产业问题一并纳入磋商，确保后续形成可行方案。卡尼还强调，虽然加拿大的目标是达成全面协议，但加方保留采取一切必要手段的应对选项。美国总统特朗普21号在白宫为新关税政策辩护称，加拿大离不开美国，没有美国，加拿大难以维持发展。他补充道，多年来加拿大一直对美国采取强硬贸易姿态，历任总统都未曾出手解决这一问题。特朗普总统还表示，因加拿大野火烟雾跨境造成空气污染问题，考虑对加拿大另外征收关税。
美国白宫20号发布消息称，美总统特朗普当天签署多个公告，依据1930年斯穆特获利关税法第338条款，对从加拿大进口的数百项特定商品加征50%关税。卡尼随后发表声明说，美国政府宣布拟对大量加拿大商品加征50%关税，是美方违反美加墨协定的一系列单边贸易行动的最新动作。
加拿大政府21号宣布取消原定本周与美国联合举行的哥迪豪跨国大桥开通庆祝活动，理由是美方日前宣布对加拿大特定商品加征50%关税。据美联社报道，加方仍致力于按原计划于7月27号开通大桥，但将于24号自行签庆祝合同。哥迪豪跨国大桥横跨底特律河，连接加拿大安大略省与美国密歇根州，全长2.4公里。2018年动工，通车后有望成为美加边境最大陆路口岸。大桥通车时间已多次推迟，被视为美加关系的风向标。
美国决定对部分巴西产品加征25%的关税，于7月22号生效。巴西政府谴责美加征关税毫无正当理由，并表示已经制定了相关措施来保护巴西企业和就业免受该措施的影响。巴西经济学家认为，美国相关措施带有明显政治动机。
根据美方此前发布的通知，加征关税措施将于7月22号开始生效，但对可能影响供应链的巴西政府预估，巴西对美出口总额的18%，也就是约70亿美元，将受到新关税的影响。
Dessa vez foi mais seletivo. Tudo que interessa o consumidor americano para não aumentar o custo dele foi isento.
曼弗雷德认为，美国相关措施带有明显政治动机，比如，美国近期将巴西央行主导的即时支付系统皮克斯纳入调查，并将其与对巴西关税政策相联系。更多体现的是政治考量，而非单纯经济因素。
Na minha opinião, essa nova tarifa da semana passada é puramente pressão política. Os Estados Unidos têm uma questão essencial em relação ao PIX, então tem a questão das empresas de cartão de crédito, Visa e Mastercard, e tem a pressão do Vale do Silício, pessoal da tecnologia em relação ao Brasil.
今年6月2号，美国贸易代表办公室发布公告，根据美1974年贸易法第301条款，计划以未禁止进口抢或劳动产品为由，对60个经济体加征10%或12.5%的关税。此举再次引发美全球贸易伙伴的普遍反对，而这已是特朗普政府的加征关税3.0版本。
美加征关税1.0版始于特朗普政府2025年1月上台后，援引美国国际紧急经济权益法，以不经国会批准直接颁布行政令的方式出台一系列加征关税措施。这一行为遭到美国企业和多个州政府的多次起诉。2025年5月，美国国际贸易法院裁定特朗普政府此举违法，并禁止执行加征关税的行政令。2026年2月20号，此道关税令被美国最高法院裁定为越权。而就在裁决公布当天，特朗普政府立即出台新的行政令，公布了加征关税2.0版。这一行政令规定，自2026年2月24号起，依据1974年贸易法第122条，对来自所有国家和地区的商品加征10%的进口关税。然而3个月不到，2.0版本的关税令在今年5月7号再次被美国国际贸易法院裁定为法律依据不成立。虽然美国政府对2.0版关税令的相关裁决提出了上诉，但即使上诉成功，据此征收的10%关税也将于今年7月24号自动到期。而此前征收后被美国最高法院裁定违法的关税款项也开始退还。自今年4月起至7月20日，美国法官已向全美进口商退还约810亿美元的税款，而整体退税总额将达到1660亿美元。为弥补此前旧关税失效的财务缺口，美国在6月初宣布计划推出3.0版本的全球关税措施。7月6号，美国22个州的总检察长联合反对关税3.0版，强调该计划不合法， 损害美国经济和消费者利益。新的加征关税计划看似试图实现其先前没有达到的目的，且针对美国几乎全部主要贸易伙伴。来自这些经济体的进口额占美国进口总额99%以上。特朗普政府先前加征关税的做法，以致美国经济陷入混乱，推高物价，美国民众已无力负担更多成本。分析人士指出，特朗普政府打造的前后3个版本的关税令，实际是想维护其高关税水平，为了维护国内美国利益第一。此举不仅破坏了国际贸易秩序，抑制国际贸易，混乱之举令很多国家遭受损失，而且其回旋镖效应也对美国经济造成了负面影响。美国前财政部长劳伦斯·萨姆斯曾指出，美关税政策是美历史上最大的经济资产，滥施关税导致物价上涨，推高通胀率，民众的消费动力受到打击，并削减就业机会。
受中东局势持续紧张、投资者抛售日元等因素影响，美国时间21号根据外汇市场，日元对美元汇率1美元兑换163.37元，报1986年12月以来新低。分析人士指出，市场对日本政府和央行再次干预汇市的预期正在增加。
在原油价格上涨等背景下，近期日元对美元贬值趋势明显。21号的纽约外汇市场上，日元一度贬值至1美元兑163.24美元。分析人士认为，近期中东局势再度升级，市场担忧能源运输受阻，推高国际油价。由于日本高度依赖能源进口，市场预期油价上涨将加大贸易逆差，投资者因此抛售日元买入美元。共同社称，突发油价上升值美元的市场非常优势。与此同时，日本国内疫情也持续压制日元汇市。一方面，日本与欧美主要经济体之间的利差仍然较大；另一方面，市场预期日本首相高市早苗将继续实施所谓的积极财政政策，放松财政纪律，这进一步加大了日元贬值压力。日本财务省22号公布的初步统计结果显示，2026年上半年日本贸易逆差达1.01万亿日元。同日公布的数据显示，由于日本原油进口成本持续处于高位，6月日本贸易逆差为4069亿日元。
21号，美国国会众议院以220票赞成、205票反对的结果通过一项临时拨款法案，以维持联邦政府运转至12月4号，避免政府在今年秋季中期选举前因经费耗尽而停摆。该法案接下来将提交参议院审议。美国本财政年度将在9月30号结束。美联社报道说，国会通常在财政年度结束前数天甚至数小时才通过临时拨款法案，而此次众议院在期限到来2个多月前已采取行动，意在避免政府停摆风险影响中期选举前的政治氛围。报道称，多数民主党议员批评共和党在缺乏两党协商情况下单方面推动法案，而参议院方面能否通过该法案仍不确定。人工智能的快速发展正在推动美国大型数据中心建设潮持续升温。然而，美国数据系统老化及效率低下，面对数据中心的高耗电量，美国电网承受着巨大的压力。
美国纽约州州长14号签署一项州行政令，纽约州将在1年内暂停50兆瓦及以上的大型数据中心的建设审批。纽约州也成为美国第一个暂停建设新的大型数据中心的州。
These hyperscale AI data centers consume enormous amounts of power, truly threatening to outpace our grid's capacity, and they drive up costs for local ratepayers. And I refuse to let those costs be passed on to New Yorkers, who already paid too much for the utility bills.
迄今，美国已经有数十个城市和县对数据中心实施了限制。彭博社今年4月的报道指出，今年1半的美国数据中心建设计划将会延期甚至取消。这并不是因为数据中心过剩，而是因为受到了电力供应问题在内的基础设施瓶颈的制约。而数据中心的耗电问题更是引发了美国民众的担忧。
Millions of Americans could suddenly lose their power this winter as the nation's power grid deals with an increased strain. This is thanks to surging numbers of data centers opening.
据美国智库国际数据中心管理局今年5月份的报告称 数据中心的耗电已占美国全国电力供应的约6%。14号，美国 PJM 联合电网公司发布的电力容量拍卖结果显示，受人工智能数据中心电力需求激增影响，预计未来3年内，美国东部13个州及华盛顿特区的数千万家庭和企业将面临总计63亿美元的额外电费支出。这一数据凸显了美国在 AI 算力基建扩张与传统电网承载力不足之间的深层次矛盾。
受持续高温、强风和长期干旱影响，近期法国、西班牙、意大利相继发生野火，消防与应急部门全力投入灭火。高温叠加强风，令3国灭火一线受压。
21号，法国南部的瓦尔省爆发一场迅速蔓延的野火，数小时内过火面积达1700公顷，迫使近400人撤离，近1000名消防员参与灭火。22号，该省消防官员表示，目前火势已得到控制，但部分区域仍有明火，需要保持高度警惕。欧洲森林火灾信息系统最新卫星数据显示，截至7月中旬，法国今年以来野火过火面积已逾4.2万公顷，超过去年全年水平。仅7月前2周，法国的野火过火面积就达到近1.5万公顷，波及巴黎附近的枫丹白露森林以及法国南部地区和科西嘉岛。截至22号，西班牙中部瓜达拉哈拉省塞拉斯的野火已吞噬超过1700公顷土地，迫使周边6个村庄紧急疏散。面对持续肆虐的野火，西班牙军事应急部队于21号夜间加入当地的消防队，参与灭火，抢筑隔离带。西班牙国家气象局就本轮火情发布极端高温警报。意大利西西里岛多地遭遇野火。21号，西西里岛多个城镇的消防员与当地居民并肩作战，奋力控制火情。当地救援人员表示，这场火从19号就开始烧了，现有的救援力量已捉襟见肘，必须紧急追加空中灭火力量，才能有效遏制火势蔓延。美联社称，持续的高温酷暑叠加强劲的季风，导致火箭四处跳跃，大大增加了呼救难度。
今天，引力1号运载火箭在上海东部海域成功发射9颗卫星。引力1号是我国研制的全球最大固体运载火箭，近地轨道运载能力6.5吨。这是该火箭首次执行远海发射任务，成功验证了该火箭的远海机动发射能力。此次任务是引力1号运载火箭的第3次飞行，也是我国首次在长三角东海海域实施民营商业火箭海上发射。
引力1号火箭是我国研制的全球最大固体运载火箭。此次海上发射，发射船从母港山东海洋出发，航行360海里，约40个小时才能到达预定海域。此前的2发引力1号火箭都在距岸几公里的近海发射，而此次深入远海，意味着引力1号要面对完全不同的海况。
最大的特点就是我们进行远海发射，在海上无风3尺浪，所以我们从我们母港出发到预定海域去，我们全程的气象保障还有海况的保障，我们都要进行事先的规划好。
远海的风浪对火箭的考验很大。引力1号起飞重量405吨，在摇晃的船上发射，稍有偏差就可能影响入轨精度。团队做了3重准备，协调气象卫星提前推演全程海况，船上配备实时气象监测设备，沿途设置避风港，随时规避。
风雨雷电浪我们都要考虑到，我们对于火箭的这个抗摇晃的这个能力，我们找出风险点，我们对我们的发射台进行了有针对性的加固。远离地面保障的情况下，条件受限，所以我们必须一方面做到最简化，一方面我们要做到能保证我们整个任务的万无一失。
今年上半年，中国工业机器人、清洁机器人和智能仿生机器人等相关产品加速走进国际市场，不仅刷新海外市场对中国制造的认知，更见证中国外贸的关键跃迁。
近日，浙江杭州一家企业自主研发生产的轮足机器人一经上市，便收获海外市场青睐。 将用于能源电力、应急消防与安防巡逻等领域。今年以来，企业出口规模较去年同期增长1.5倍。
它是我们的一个超级组合，就是通过机器狗去移动，然后机械臂去将扫描仪拿着去扫描。它的优点是在于机器狗可以适应复杂地形，遇到一些台阶或者一些障碍物、一些石头什么，它可以轻松的跨越。
作为全国数字经济与未来产业先行省份，浙江将智能仿生、具身智能作为培育新质生产力核心赛道，构建全域协同产业布局，集聚了一批机器人相关企业，机器人出口也驶上快车道。据杭州海关统计，上半年浙江省工业机器人等各类机器人出口额超10亿元，涵盖近100个国家和地区。其中，出口智能仿生机器人超过4亿元，出口额约占全国的60%。在上海，人工智能、机器人等新赛道与传统赛道双向发力，成为上海外贸向好的动能和底气。数据显示，上半年上海工业机器人、智能仿生机器人和手术机器人等3大机器人累计出口额增长1.2倍。在江苏、广东等地的智能家居产品生产基地，一条条自动化生产线正满负荷运转。眼前这批即将发往欧洲的扫地机器人，集成了高精度导航和 AI 避障技术，凭借着高性价比和技术创新，
出口量增长超过80%，目前订单能力已经开始。现在出海，企业拼的不仅仅是价格，还要看机器人的聪明程度，这也是我们市场份额不断提升的重要原因。
目前，国产机器人出海产品已形成完整梯队，消费、工业、前沿人形机器人全面开花。工信部数据显示，在智能机器人领域，中国研发的4足机器人占全球销量份额接近70%，人形机器人整体产品达400余款，超全球半数。一台台走出国门的机器人，成为新质生产力发展的生动缩影。
当前，人工智能正加速渗透千海产业。作为湖北省面积最小的地级市，鄂州依托本地新型 AI 研发机构，以产教融合、科创孵化赋能实体经济，持续激活城市发展新动力。
暑期以来，湖北莲花山人工智能研究院 AI 研学体验持续火热，隔空弹奏虚拟古筝，与智能表情机器人实现人机交互等沉浸式课程，让青少年能够近距离触摸前沿科技，感受人工智能的魅力。作为湖北省首个集人才培养、项目验证、产业孵化于一体的人工智能新型研发机构，这里同步承载科普育人与产业赋能双重功能，不到200平方米的开放空间里，达20个创业团队。
我们首先是把我们的重心放在了人工智能的通识培训和教育上，还要做好科技对地方的赋能。所以呢，我们成立了孵化园，在做产业孵化，还有一
波亚洲5个专业货运枢纽，鄂州发挥国际区位优势。鄂州临空经济区跨境电商产业蓬勃发展。在研究院的 AI 技术指导下，以往需要人工完成的视频剪辑、观众数据分析等繁琐工作，移交给 AI 操作后，运营效率大大提升。
AI 推出的投入大大的降低了中小企业进入跨境电商赛道的门槛。我们的内容制作时间下降了90%，内容制作的数量增长了300%。
随着2026莲花山人工智能大会在鄂州集中举办，一批人工智能领域标志性成果集中发布，由多方创新力量联合共建的多家人工智能创新平台集中揭牌，助力人工智能创新生态加速形成。目前，鄂州人工智能累计培训超30万人次，每年有望带动数千万产值。
电池999家庭好帮手，匠心打造，品质卓越。
低楼层走上楼，让生活绽放活力色。出门带上环保杯，为日常添点亮色。背上环保袋，以新的时尚色。绿色生活让世界拥有了更多的颜色。绿色低碳，多彩中国。
便漫无进程。从读一行字到读一本书， 生与世界。是一种又何尝不是一种阅读？有的时候要越阅读，书要一步步读。我们从书中汲取智慧。
眼下，新疆阿勒泰地区的170多万亩项目正花期，1到5季的生活花期美不胜收，吸引众多游客观赏游玩。据了解，阿勒泰地区项目花期较长，每年7月中有11种花期，可持续8以上。近年来，当地充分依托各种后人光热资源优势，深度挖掘农文旅深度融合发展潜力，以特色花牌景观带动乡村旅游发展，助力乡村振兴。眼下正值夏日赏景好时节，这2天在江苏苏州西湖山景区，一株经过1年多悉心守护的千年古莲如期开花。据了解，这株古莲的种子出土于南京6朝至北宋时期的考古地层，距今已有1000年的历史。这株千年古莲的盛开，对研究1000年前植物形态、人文审美、古代莲子遗传特性及气候变化具有重要意义。
科学教育点亮美好未来。
好的，感谢您收看这一时段的中国新闻，观众朋友，再会。
再会。
Stay a while and listen.
Good day.
您好，欢迎收看这一时段的中国新闻。我们来看详细的报道。针对澳大利亚外长黄英贤涉南海和中国导弹试射的有关言论，中国外交部发言人林健在今天的例行记者会上表示，有关国家不是南海问题的当事方，无权介入当事国间的涉海问题。
中方已就非方人员恶意攻击中方的执法，阐明了严正立场。有关国家无视非方侵权挑衅的基本事实，无端攻击、指责中国，持续翻炒非法无效的所谓南海电子弹裁决，中方对此坚决反对。在中国的东盟国家的共同影响，当前南海的局势总体稳定，非方蓄意侵权挑衅是导致海上竞争的根源。
林健表示，有关国家不是南海问题的当事方，无权介入当事国间的涉海问题。明眼人都看得出。活动无论青红皂白，就。
对抗，切实尊重地区国家，为维护南海和平稳定。
Think we can punish this team here because on this plane path they're going to go for this vehicle, and that means they're going to not be able to get access to a gun quickly enough, and now their other team might be around them.
And I love the fact that Jinji is coming in with confidence in game one. Another team coming in with confidence is going to be Full Sense with a Full Send right on top of Sharper. Thunder's trying to fit one side. Thunderwatt's taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down. Belmont's going to be the one that found him. And this is just going to quickly go Full Send side in unless Thunder's going to get something to happen. He steps around and he's going to go down too.
It's a great little punish here for Full Sense. You can see VP hovering off screen just a little bit, looking for an opportunity to maybe pick off a player, but because that was clean for Full Sense, they don't lose any players. I don't expect VP to really commit to this. I think they're just going to look and see if maybe they can find a punish. You can see the SKS in hand for Beamy at range, looking around for a potential target. He might be offered up an opportunity, not just yet. They're able to move the car around the corner. Should be safe.
I don't necessarily fault Beamy for going for this one, but Full Sense having a pretty decent innings. They walk away with 24 points. They're going to need to step up that points per game to be a lot more comfortable with qualification, because remember, there is no survival stage. There is nothing else other than the points that you get through the group. So it is the top 16 that go on. Doesn't matter what group it is. Doesn't matter how it's all come together. You just got to get points where you can find them. Full Sense on 24, you got to feel like that was a little bit more hazardous. But Luke Rux does find out Belmont in the open. That was 2-3 on the other side of the wall. You got to take that.
Well, this was well thought out by VP. Able to catch Full Sense and try to position their cars into safer spots, and little do they know they weren't safe at all. So it's the hit and run for Virtus Pro, and they will take their point and leave. Forces Full Sense. There could be an opportunity, who knows, to maybe get a revive in there somewhere, but they're quite far away. Meanwhile, Supers having themselves a 2-1-1 split. Essentially, they're going to leave a player up on the mountain, but there is a bunch of JDG up there. They're trying to get some scouting information, I believe, from Rex. Can be great in those 1vx scenarios, but did not realize what he's going into up there.
I mean, Everest does give you a lot of control, so it's got enough space to where you can have a couple of teams kind of jockeyed up against each other. But look at the nades already prepped. Are they going to go a bit too far? Yeah, Rex is going to be playing closer in position. He is very vulnerable up here. The more these nades pop off, the more problems going to start mounting. And even if he has to try to get out of this now, shots going to be coming out from JD Gaming. But on the lower section, Petrichor Road is already moving and might be able to cut off his escape.
Oh boy, he is lucky to get away there. Rex really nifty driving. Had to go in reverse down that hill too. That is not easy at all. JDG had a moment. They did the damage, but they weren't able to take the point.
Quick update, we did see that Anyone's Legend managed to get Hamas back in. They went ahead, rezzed him. He's coming in on the helicopter in just 1 second. So regroup, get him some guns, maybe find some more points for that squad. Rotators right now are going to be, of course, AGAL. It's going to be right up next to Molotov coming in. Falcons coming into the circle very soon. No
a little bit about it. Part of it is just that way they don't have to mess with the hot drops and the global events as much. Like they have a little more freedom. They learn how to play. If you're a good edge team, if you're an aggressive edge team, which we know they can be, get some points in the kill department, easy peasy. T1 has got a wide split vitality in front of them. Levante all on his own inside of that observatory, just over the other side of the hill. Quizzy down the road from him, but now it doesn't seem like T1 too keen to get aggressive. It can be a little tricky. There's a little bit of flat open space between you and this compound that he's in. For now, T1 is going to be chilling, taking their little ridge side. Pretty defendable there, you can see. Have a lot of opportunities to kind of find some ways to hide, and as long as your back is clear, the top of that hill is safe.
Depending on how the circles go, Vitality is a great spot to pick up a couple more kills. Already prepping for the new circle pop that'll happen in about 30 seconds or so. It looks like JDG has managed to do an emergency pickup, and I think that might be a bit too fast. So I think that we'll have to see how the timing works. No, I take it back. I think that the timing for it should be just about right. So JDG can do an emergency pickup out of the top of Everest to kind of get what they need. And given how flat the circle is with the amount of fields in, no surprise. Late rotators and Falcons, like we were talking about, are going to be coming in this one perfectly timed. As the center meta is staying very strong. Most of our squads playing around there. It's just a little bit of external skirmishing going on as we stay near Everest and the fields.
And now you have some decisions to make as some of those teams in the center, like 17 Gaming, do you kind of coalesce into a 4-man, or you try to maintain your split that you have going in the dead center of that circle, maybe a 2-2, as I expect like the Supers to stick with. Petrichor Road is a similar idea. A lot of teams trying to just maintain their hold on what they've taken. That's going to send Falcons a little bit up to the north, but here's a crash.
Right up on top of everybody, FullSense has one down, and it is a quick massacre coming up from T1. They wanted that, and they took it. Vanadol's just running for his life on the outside, and his nades raining down upon him. He is trapped, and FullSense is out early.
Nice crash here from T1. They find the weakened FullSense and eliminate them very quickly. Don't take too much damage. EN there. Nice grenade, nice shooting, along with Rainy to clear out that chopstick. And oh my goodness.
He had monitor on this for a while, so with the change up in positioning, it's going to be Tyloo that came forward. BP playing the other side, just a couple of buildings between, though. It does look like it's a little bit more complicated to work around on the inside of this. Is Tyloo pretty trapped? BP has so many external angles that they've got this under control with.
Yeah, this has been really well orchestrated so far by BP. Haven't taken any damage, substantial damage, I should say. Grenade at that door, just in case they were trying to make their approach, but Compound going to be backing off here just a little bit, trying to find a new angle, a new position. Just going to be holding the line. Has a teammate above him, but if they clear him out, wouldn't be too surprised to see BP really try to take Tyloo out of this.
I believe that we saw Leo playing a glider earlier, so he's going to be external from this now, having just touched the ground. He could move into a backstab position on the VP, but it's hard to get over. Mostly it's going to be Vicious taking a couple of shots. Crux got himself the bullet hose and ready for anybody to peek around, but it's going to be a nade coming out, getting them out on the defense.
That might buy enough time here for that backstab to come through. Another big grenade there. Really scary stuff for Virtus Pro. Trying to find an angle in. Husker to set up a smoke. Trying to over-aggress on that angle. No, they're just going to try to cut this.
DC is back behind this. Big problem for Lee is he doesn't make sure that he monitors that. I think he spotted it. But this backstab now having a big problem. That means that the two players for Tyloo have to deal with VP in a much closer range threat. No form of assistance from the outside, and DC looks like they're going to step up. Maybe they start taking a couple of shots, but no, it's going to be Nixie that gets counted down.
Now Virtus Pro should really try to remove Tyloo from the equation right now. Hausker is taking a ton of damage from Util by that blue zone grenade. Looking to get ahead out there. Lee has dodged VC for now. He's able to kind of scoot off towards the east and avoid any contact with them. Luke Ross able to find a big out by the duck mine. That means that they are going to have to take a step back and wait this out. Decisions to make.
I am overburdened.
Salvage mode. Are you going to be able to get anything put together? Should we mention that Himas was revived? survived for AGAL, so he will be back into the equation. Maybe not, as goodly as well here, I should say, as some, but should be okay.
He did spend some time over in Rozhok with some friends, so I think that he might be pretty okay. Vitality's going to go right next to Chopsticks. Looks like Nixie's also going to do the same. A little bit of jockeying for position around that. We also did see T1 taking over the section of the Western Chopstick. Now also having Everest leave the territory means that JDG still has one of their players back. The Falcons are going to be using to get a little bit of high ground control and vision before they jump into the circle and kind of figure out what the lay of the land is in front of them.
Yeah, it should give them a little bit of info now as to where exactly JDG is going to be set up, based on where that car is going to be driving off. Start immediately kind of recognizes that he's going to have a little bit of free space in front of him with that hillside that cuts off the compound from JD Gaming, and going to be using that at least to do a little bit of scouting, a little bit of peacock there from the top as well.
Some gatekeeping that's going on as VC can't really find any way to approach. Proper is open with Sharper having just 2 players over there right now, and I think that they've managed to explore that, figured out. Shadow also has to figure out how to get in the circle. They're right on the edge of it with their compounds, but it's a little bit dicey as they do have Super on one side of them and Falcons on the other. But I think Simon for VC is going all the way back up to Everest. The other players just, they can't find a path into this at all.
Simon is trying to get some info for them, I believe, trying to find some open space in the circle that his team can get into, and if they can, they just got to group up and take the fight. So as they beat Plan B, you kind of suss out that Shadow Esports in that compound. Maybe you try to take that fight. The Supers have grouped up into 4 players inside of those blue houses that are up on that hill, so VC on the edge.
So we've got essentially a Chopsticks game that's brewing. So T1 in a great position, 17 in a great position for it. Shadow taking the shots at VC, keep throwing them on the inside. VC can kind of go up and touch a little bit of Everest and, yep, rotate right back down into it, but that's going to put the Supers pathing. There is no way to really make it past this unless you just run right by the Supers as fast as possible. Remember, Supers are going to take the shots over at Shadow, so I think that they can squeeze by here. You're now in the fields. Where do you go? If you keep going south, it's right into T1. If you go over the compounds, it's going to be 17.
Yeah, I think the edge of the hill here is about the best you're going to get with the tractor and the hay bales potentially, or are they just going to keep going and try to crash something? Or maybe the other Chopstick very open. Nice find here for VC, actually.
They squeak it through and the new circle pops. They're barely in it. Chopsticks just entirely abandoned by the circle. And it is just fields galore in the center of this one. Navi already on the move. G on the other side of it. 17 regrouping, and it looks like those 2 squads are running right for the same compound.
Doubt, pretty funny to watch the Supers there just turn right around to the compound. And here we go, already a couple down. B ran over his teammate. He's going to go down to Fair. Oh, a huge grenade from Spyro. Takes down Soul and Gen G on their last legs.
Navi just comes in full control on it, finally starting to have a couple of knocks as Salute manages to make some magic happen.
What can I do
but
for
he
you?
is in a ton of trouble the way that this is all set. Akatori already knows where he's at. Looks like he's just doing a day just to make sure and keep some control over the territory. So Salute's got one building, but the way that this has all gotten set up, it's pretty much Akatori versus Salute and nowhere else to really go. Oh, Nathan's gonna bounce pretty awry on that. Is anyone's legend now gonna get involved? Nowhere else to go. It's time to just crash.
Now BB's here too. They've seen that kill feed. They know where this fight is happening. Salute runs out of ammo. They're gonna drop downstairs. They try to hold the line. AGAL taking down Navi. Salute able to weaken them up enough that he's maybe bought himself a little bit more time in this game. But how much is that gonna matter?
VP squads that played yesterday needing some more right now. Navi in trouble.
All of my items are guaranteed for life.
Still just trying to deal with Salute on the other side of it. Finally he goes down. It is going to be Hamax that manages to get him. Navi still just trying to deal with all the utility being thrown right on top of him, and VP is just absolutely massacring anything that they come in contact with.
Yeah, playing a really aggressive game here today, and AGAL, though, able to take a slightly better position as far as the circle is concerned. A bit of a better angle as things go along, and plus VP still has to clean out that second story in their house. Be a little bit tricky with AGL having oversight, and Ferris actually takes down Himas there. So all of a sudden, things may be a little bit easier. Let's see what Ferris has in store for us.
I mean, he's got the stairwell. He's just dropping smokes, trying to stall this out as much as possible. But VP has enough control territory that they can play around the external sections of the building. Looks like maybe trying to crap up to see if they can get some nades on those points. Already realizes where Delvin is embarrassed, man. He is just being a problem for anyone's legend. You just kind of let them do the work.
He's now kind of really annoyed both teams that are around him still, and they want to get him dealt with. Nixie went for the grenade outside, but couldn't get it to connect, and they still don't have that confidence to try to make the push up the stairs, trying to work it out.
Well, I mean, VP can't. They're afraid if they make the push up and Ferris gets the knock onto one of them, anyone's legend's just going to pounce right back behind it. Ferris knows this, so he's just trying to keep control on one side. Lukrux does get him on the outside, so finally getting some control over that building. AGAL having a much bigger lion's share of the compounds, though.
Yeah, the fact that VP doesn't take any damage from Ferris there is really, really nice. Having a bunch of players knocked and they can't get back to 4, get back up and running, and like you said, very important that they have all their players up and they have that BRDM, so they have an escape out. They don't necessarily have to take that fight against AGAL unless they really, really want to, and it gives you some safety if you do.
Feels like they want it. Delwyn going to be down. MI is going to be holding the windows. Nixie going to be the guy peeking one side of it. This feels like we're moving into field, so get what you can get before you walk into the killing fields. How these nades going? Not connecting as much as they want. Just still peeking around, the windows galore on all the sides of it. Nixie, though, getting a ton of information on this movement.
Yeah, he has taken quite a bit of damage, but you're exactly right. That information led to Corexi being able to coordinate with the frags, get that first big knock onto AGAL. The fight can continue. Look who's showing up behind us, though. Lee might have something to say about this, but more players dropping for AGAL. BB getting 2.
Down is just down to Moss, the guy that went down early. Does manage to get Delwyn back up, but where do you even go? It feels like every single window when he goes for peaks, there's nades rolling in on top of him. He's got to be so cautious. Smokes everywhere, visibility near on not. He's just going to start holding the stairwell as Delwyn's going to go down, and he's back by himself.
I just look to Lee. He's just going to use this opportunity to try to sneak by this fight, but Himas with the pump shotgun, very concerning. And as BP, you got to be worried that you might overcommit to this fight. You've already taken 3 down. Look at Lee. Is he going to steal it? Okay, I thought for a second he might steal the BRDM.
I like this from BP. They want to get time into the circle. They did the damage. He wants just to be a line. What are you going to do against that BRDM? 17 now taking shots at these roaming targets. It is going to be Vitality that has the center of the circle. Well, back behind all this Himas has spotted out Vicious making a rotation.
The line between all different trying to get something done that did it. With the off. Comes up and takes 2
specifically to the west. It's going to be Supers right in the center of the circle. Vitality has vision on what's going on over here. So Falcons, well, they've got the high ground for now. Know that they've got a lot of threats very, very close. Wouldn't be surprised if they just try to sweep this one out and see if they can finish off Petrichor Road, maybe Nons as well.
There you go. No problem at all for Kick. Gets the grenade right where it needs to be. Still have JDG up on the edge of this hill that has to be dealt with. Should be pretty doable for the Falcons, you would think, but Tiggleton getting lit up by a bunch of different teams. I mean, there are 4 different teams shooting at him.
Oh, Nons! Big play comes up at the end and ruins Falcons' day. Tig now down, getting flushed out. It is everybody in the lobby. 17 Vitality, as well as VP, all just trying to decimate Falcons.
Had to happen for the Falcons. They had to go for kills. Kickstart's going to be able to hang on, get a little bit further, get some more points into this one. Supers now as well need to be making 17 south of the circle. Try to sneak in behind Otis Pro and Vitality. Supers, I don't know how much they're going to have to work with here. They still have some vehicles. You would think they've been hanging out of that compound.
And overburdened.
Because it is really flat.
Can't carry
there's that little bit of a ridge that we just saw what happened. They're just going to bump into 17 who still needs to get the circle. So right now it's VP, Vitality, EU complete control over the circle. We've got T1 and 17 having a little bit. 17 at least notice where the points around them are.
They're trying to go somewhere on that road. Great vision at the very least. Peace out. Details are still going to be there. One little dip, things like that you can just saving your trenches. You can find those an opportunity. And you're looking for timing here while 17 is trying to make their way in. Here's a big wrap.
They're going to go to the north. They're going to have a lot of firing on them. VP is a bit more focused on 17. Barely getting himself T1. Rex has actually gone over and gotten the crate, so that's going to give them another foothold position to play. As now 17 Gaming has to figure out where do they go. They've got a trench that's kind of dug themselves. It's enough for some safety for now, but Supers does spot out the stealthy T1, and so stealth fails in the end as bullets just rain down upon him.
Good to see Rex you. Has a lynx. He's putting it to good use against Virtus Pro.
This is a great victory indeed.
Onto Lucarux.
Many more battles await.
And gets taken
I
down
will
by
accompany you on your journey, lending what assistance I can. Remember, Diablo is still out there, seeking something in the desert.
They just got to spin on every single angle. Looks like 17 trying to get closer and closer, see if they can maybe aggress on the Vitality defensive line. Circle pops, and it goes down to the south. That means that Super is getting control over that crate. At least is going to get them close to the circle.
Yeah, and now Vitality has to try to deny 17 some kind of entry. They've been trenching their way a little bit further forward so they can get into grenade range and try to displace them, and they're already landing some good ones. Quincy down.
Wimbo manages to drop it. Here comes another follow-up. Looks like the Molotov's going to be just a smidge too short. Levante's just got way too many targets in front of him, and the smoke line for 17's a bit further out. Looks like maybe they were trying to prep it out for a run, but instead it's just going to be nades landing down onto that spot, opening up more cover for 17 to work with if they want.
Yeah, this is pretty well thought out here by 17. They've been able to keep themselves very much alive. The Super's still trying to get Rex back onto his feet. They just are able to get there, but they're taking a lot of damage along the way because everybody else has been able to dig in, find spots inside of the circle, or create some safety of their own. And that has made it very, very difficult for them, still being on the outside looking in. Another crate going to be dropping in just ahead of them. I mean, it's a little bit of extra cover. You'll take anything you can get as the Supers. You can see there's a couple Doritos up there even for them to work with. But again, like you've been talking about, it's not much, man.
It's just flat dips, whatever you've dug into it. Vitality's been here for a long time. As you can see, this is why I was thinking they were starting shooting as much as they were, because it's just too many targets around them. And they're, again, another knock, more meds, more armor being burned. I'm worried about the attrition and really how long Vitality's been here and how long they can keep up the defense, specifically against Supers, who just keeps finding traits galore and manages to find ways to fight their way in.
Yeah, it's been rough sledding their armor. Another thing, but a good grenade from Cumin. Find Nixie. Is he going to be able to get the flush off the back of it? No. The follow-up grenade, not quite where it needed to be. Lucarux, in the meantime, gets back up to the first aid level of health and looking AEB, Rez, Nixie, impossible.
We're in a bit of a paper rock scissors style moment right now where we've got VP eyes on the Supers. They can't move too much because they're in nade range from the Supers. No real capabilities for movement as we're just in a very flat section. So if you've got any way to dig, you see that is just the only moment of reprieve that you get. 17 all stacked together. Little going to be down back behind him as it is going to be Nixie just lighting up. Supers gets 2 knocks, but Vitality can't get any control angles on it. Hellman's trying to creep over there. Just nothing being revealed for him.
The fact that the Supers couldn't follow up onto that knock on the Nixie quickly enough has caused them to hemorrhage a couple players. Nixie will be knocked again, but still, it's going to be VP hanging on quite nicely. And now Hello My Bad trying to finish the Supers off. Cannot do so. Haven't been able to stay behind the safety of some of these crates and other things that have, again, just barely given Supers enough entry into the previous circle, but they have further to go to get to circle 8.
Vitality's just barely in the circle. They've got no smokes from what I've seen left. Just a couple of bullets to work with. 17 is going to be pushing from the south. You have to assume it's going to be on the Vitality line.
And testament to the noble spirit which has inspired our order for generations.
But they couldn't. VP is just could be cozy over there in the east by comparison. They've got a good double up with eyes onto Supers. They've got beaming with pretty much center control going on right now, and Corexy that's just supervising what's going on between 17 and Vitality.
Yeah, and you can see Xiaowu is on sapper duty here, trying to dig his way forward for Steve. What in the world, Rex? Just found a huge grenade. That was that dip that Lucarux and Nixie were sitting in, and all of a sudden the Supers may have just bought themselves an extra life in this game.
But look at the path that they have to walk through. There is nothing in front of them. Not even any shrubberies to use. It's just going to be full run and gun. If they lean Vitality side, there's not a lot really going on over there, so maybe they can find some way to just push their way in. Rex down to just one more shot, but he's got eyes on to VP. VP just trying to cling to life over here to see if they can get the shots onto it. Correct, he's got himself a good angle, but Xiaowu finds Hello My Bad. That's the northern part of what's going on with Vitality. Is that going to be the go signal for the push? And yes, it is.
All right, here we go. 17 throwing those stuns out early. Wenbo able to take Levante down. Another one goes in, and Beamy helping out 17 gaming just a little bit here, but Quincy springs into action. Tianta can't quite find the finish just yet. Looking for that final ball. Is he going to get it?
Somehow Vitality survives with the assistance on the outside from VP and Supers. Now it's VP full focused, 15 kills. These guys are bragging out on this lobby. Supers got nowhere to go with the Dorito, not enough cover.
Yeah, that's a huge knock because the timing here getting very dire for the Supers. The blue is just onto Heaven's back, and he's going to be taken down there. Yeah, can't get any further forward. They go down in third.
How many more kills can we see VP get? As it is Beamy just charging to the center of the circle, using the cover that he's got set up over there. Peeking back on over into a very weakened Vitality. Backs up against the blue zone, and not much that they can really do to walk out as they manage to find the smoke. But can they even find the angle that they need to take down VP?
And he's still one more stun, and that's a big kill on the Levante.
Just keep chaining them together. This is just brutal. Moving forward, there is nowhere to go, and that is going to be VP with a big win.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered. A team that started out looking pretty good yesterday and couldn't quite keep it together as the day went through, and they come out swinging. Love the early aggression that we saw from the beginning to the end of that game. VP was taking fight after fight and winning them so cleanly, so well, and that's what allowed them to get into that late stage, have more players up, have their spot dug into that circle already. They're able to hold the line.
What did they end at? 16 kills? Something like that? Idea going for you right now is that VP, where we were talking about a bit underperforming from our expectations with them yesterday, they got 35 points on the road. They just got 26 in one game. That's the VP I was expecting.
They just set themselves in the grand final. I mean, I think that's basically guaranteed.
This is just a ridiculously good performance, and kudos to everybody else that managed to find ways to make something work, because we saw Supers were just trying to chase the circle for so long inside that Vitality. While they did get into position early, there was just like nothing for them to find. There was no crates and nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Vitality had to defend against a lot of teams. Yes, here.
Was that Nixie?
That sounded like Nixie.
That was a Nixie if I've ever heard it right there.
I want to give Vitality a lot of credit. They were dealt a really tough situation there. There were a lot more teams that had to try to fight through them than VP. So they were defending on like 3 different angles.
Yeah, they had Supers that were messing with them, 17 that was making the foot push right on top of them. And again,
one back there for a while.
They just didn't have a lot to work with because they were having to take care of so many threats around them. And yeah, Vitality is another squad that played yesterday and needs to find points, so a later stage performance coming in from them, absolutely big. As let's go ahead and toss it back over to the studio.
Good evening.
Everyone is playing, you're not yet. EWC Play is your all-in-one platform to compete in fantasy, pick'em, and quests for a grand total of $300,000 in prize pool. Build your dream fantasy team in 5 different games and track your score with live results tables. Predict the winner of every game, every group stage, and every tournament. Complete daily and weekly challenges to earn boosters that help you climb the global leaderboard. Got what it takes? Join EWC Play now.
Greetings.
Hey, Kalaris here at the Esports World Cup for 2026, and I've got myself Salute here as well as Maddox to do the translations here before day number 2's games do start things off. So my first question for Salute, of course, is coming into day 2, which is their first day of gameplay, how is Genji feeling about their preparation and going into these first games?
일단 살라트 선수 첫 번째 질문은 일단 오늘 파리 경기장 와서 첫날 또 경기신데 지금 기분이 어떠시고 좀 어떻게 준비하실지 궁금합니다.
일단 파리의 날씨가 너무 좋기 때문에 컨디션이 너무 좋고 그 다음에 경기장이 EWC에서 너무 좋은 데를 제공해줘가지고 좀 마음 편히 준비를 하고 있는 것 같습니다.
Yeah, I mean the Paris atmosphere is very good and the weather is really clear, so yeah, I mean feeling really great. And also the EWC WTC actually provided a really good stadium for us. So yeah, it's actually a very good atmosphere.
Good evening. Fantastic. And I guess my follow-up question to that is, did you guys get to watch a lot of what was going on yesterday? And what do you think about some of the performances from those teams? And are you concerned about some of those teams?
이제 두 번째 질문으로는 이제 어제 경기 한번 보시면서 이제 슬슬 준비하셨을 텐데 어제 경기 중에서 좀 이 팀은 진짜 좀 걱정된다, 이 팀은 진짜 경기해야 되는 팀이다라는 팀이 있었는지 궁금합니다.
저번 대회 때부터 좀 미스 팀이 되게 잘해진 것 같고 굉장히 경기되는 팀인 것 같습니다. 굉장히 현재 폼이 좋고 4명 다 자기 위치에서 활약을 잘하기 때문에 팀이 현재 제일 잘하지 않나라고 생각을 하고 있습니다.
Yeah, since the last PGS, I think Myth has been definitely a titan. So yeah, I think their gameplay is really great. Their form, all of their foreign players'
The
form
caravan is
really
prepared.
great here.
We may
And also
now
their
journey
defensive
eastward
plays are
to
actually showing off.
Lane.
So yeah, I think that Myth is actually the one to look for.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, 감사합니다. Thank you very much. Gosu, the salute. Oh, so good. Oh, Genji. Oh, what a win. Interview, please. Hi. Please.
We traveled east, over the mountains and into the vast desert.
It's okay, Calaris. You got a good chance to do the interview. But if you're VP, if you were able to do the pick'ems earlier on, you're feeling quite happy right now because this was a squad that was averaging about
and secret now
5.8 points, and they absolutely smacked it coming into this one. Welcome back, everybody, to the 7th team, joined by Godspeed, Blaze, and Poppies. Blaze, VP, showed up today.
Yeah, look, after I'm not even going to say it wasn't a bad day yesterday, right? It was mediocre, a little bit mid-range, but I feel like because they witnessed Twisted Minds and Myth, and they know where the goalposts are, they came out exactly how they needed to and prioritized eliminations in this one because they know what they need to catch from the other groups. And I'm feeling just a little bit bad for Group C at the moment because, they're just coming into this chaos. But my God, really? 1,000 damage coming out of that game. I think they hit just over 15 eliminations when I was sitting there. And of course,
perhaps it was the warm desert
earned a chicken, right?
Earned a chicken dinner, like.
For the
Oh my
first
God, what a great start for VP.
It was. 7 kills for being alone, phenomenal. But a lot of that for me came out of that
the
sort of
dreams
kerfuffle
returned, but these were clearly not my own. I beheld the vision of a great man, the mage, Talrasha. You were there too, Tyrael. I remember seeing you in my dream. His brethren had cornered a great demon, Baal, the lord of destruction, who had been sentenced upon the world. They attempted to imprison the demon within a sacred stone. Yet when their attempts failed, Talrasha selflessly volunteered to contain the demon within himself, completing the prison. He instructed his brethren to bind him within the tomb, then out of the sky, there to wrestle with the demon for all eternity.
Before these fields were it was just death, and now teams are finding cover, creating plays. It's so sick.
So, Seven, I know that you haven't had a chance to be on this patch since they added the digging.
Yep.
This has been this game was a showcase.
Probably one of the coolest.
Exactly.
Additions.
These fields traditionally have just been an absolute, honestly, terrible situation to find yourself in. The fact that 17 lasted as long as they did, the fact that Soup on the north side, I thought they were cooked early, but the Soup boiled over. They got in the circle, they dug the hole, and they made it work. So I do think this has been a pretty good case study for how the pickaxe, how the destructible trade can be a benefit.
I think it's one of the best additions they've added.
Greetings.
Personally.
And when I was talking with Kalaris yesterday after the show, he asked me, what is the one thing that you're enjoying the most so far? I was like, the digging. It just changes the dynamics so much of certain areas. We got a chance to see it yesterday, but as you guys just mentioned, we just saw it perfectly in that scenario. And the BRDM, I want to see a little bit more of that splat maker because I wanted to see them being able to run some people over with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that BRDM has been a huge staple so far in this game. Yeah, I love it.
The biggest fan of it.
Historically, Godspeed has not been a BRDM lover, and it has gotten stronger with the nerf to the Panzerfaust. There's a few less counters, but it's been very good. We've seen it over and over again. I do think, yeah, sometimes the pickaxe is a bit overpowered. Maybe a few changes for like the durability or things like that would be good. But the holes, I love the fact that we can change the terrain. Yeah. I also want to give a shout. Another thing that was added not long ago was res beacons. We saw a track add a res beacon in that game, and we'll get back to that. But right now, props for Virtus Pro, man. 7 kills for Beamy.
That's what you were talking about too, Lace. Beamy with those 7 kills, and honestly, a good pick-me-up and a great start for this squad, considering what was happening yesterday. As you were mentioning, not really one of the best days. Today, they started off hot.
Yeah, and like I said, they really need to have that momentum because, yeah, they know what's coming for them in these other groups, and they really did hone in on those eliminations and all those kills there. But I sort of want to move more maybe to our teams that didn't do so well and that I had on my books.
My favorite segment.
My favorite segment. The losers. So I had high hopes for Gen G. They came out, got their first elimination on AGAL. It was looking kind of bright for them. We've got 2 of our Korean teams here today. T1 as well, sort of facing it off. T1 actually did a lot better than I thought they would. They were more up that leaderboard with about 9 points left over. But yeah, these Gen G, not a great start for them. It was looking like they were sort of going to move up there. But yeah, honestly, Salute was holding that team together in that entire game. But unfortunately, I guess that confrontation where we had, it was AGAL and then VP and obviously all those third parties, it just wasn't looking good for them. I did have high hopes that Salute could get out of that situation due to the third party arriving, but it just didn't play out that way.
The problem for me, I'm glad you brought up Gen G, is that their whole year has just been disappointing. When you look at the roster, you have Bean, you have Salute, you have Soul, right? You have D. These are players that, in their, well, I say in their prime, they're really not that far off it, or if they're not still in it. I mean, these are players that Salute at one point with Soul was one of the best players in the world. Soul was one of the best players in the world, right? We all said it. He's incredible. Him and Tig had a little setup. Where is that? I need to see that.
They just
Gen G has
brought
been
back this roster, no? They sort of
all year they have been floundering, and I need to see something more. This is the biggest test they're going to have, and so far, the first game wasn't great. Now, I have to give them a caveat because that circle was rough. That whole circle, Steve, we saw a lot of teams having to go. Those fields traditionally underneath Everest have always been really rough to play around. So, I mean, you got to give them a pass, I guess.
Yep, that's right. I mean, I want to see team not be getting a pass in AGAL. I want to see a little bit more out of that squad.
They need more too.
They have 5 more matches left, and it's not going to be enough. But I know we do have something awesome coming this year, and that is none other than ENC.
Hello.
That's right, ENC is coming your way a little bit later on during the year here, as I have got Porosaurus here to... Why is everyone so tall? Oh, why am I so small? But, of course, ENC on the way. I mean, talking about those regions that are going to be kind of representing, especially across PUBG, who are you looking at to be able to challenge for a title?
I mean, look, coming off of a massive PNC win, obviously everybody's looking at Brazil, but I feel like that might have been a once-in-a-blue-moon, just exciting
Greetings,
thing.
honored traveler.
Really
I am Jaren, Lord of Loot Grange, and I bid you welcome to my fair port city.
Right, if you're
I'm glad to know that once again, caravans are free to travel through the Western Pass.
The West has
For some time now, we have been under siege by an evil power that I cannot identify.
I think you think
Strange.
Brazil might be
It all began when a dark wanderer came this way, looking for the tomb of Tal Rasha. No one knows exactly where Tal Rasha, keeper of Baal, is entombed, but it is certain to be far out in the desert. Now my people whisper tales of the dead rising from their tombs, and horrible creatures lurking amongst the moonlit dunes. Even I have witnessed things which I cannot explain.
Thank you so much.
I've ordered the port closed and all trade ships moored until I am sure that my city is safe.
But I love whenever we watch
Atma, the tavern keeper, has an important mission for you. Go see her immediately. You'll find her on the other side of town. Now I must return to the palace. I apologize, but I can't invite you in. Things are rather a mess right now.
No, I mean, that's going to be a great event. It was top to bottom. It's so much more, like, interesting
schedule where teams can just kind of bring anyone together from around the world and put together these great teams that we get to see here. At EWC, at ENC, it's all that country pride, it's all those things on the line, and the stakes are going to be so high. Everybody's going to want to be gunning for that big prize that you can get if you win. So we'll have to wait and see. But this plane path, pretty fair, right down the middle-ish, a little bit east, but pretty reachable for most of the drop spots on Tego.
Do we get another northern Tego? Because while we've gotten the double up on Tego, it feels like it just keeps pulling back over. It's one of two things. We either get Song On with like 50% of it water, or we are up next to Shipyard and Army Base. It's kind of just abandoned in the center of it, which I don't have a problem with. That's kind of one of the worst areas that I don't really like to play in Tego.
Ah, okay. I mean, I kind of like most of Tego. Actually, the only place I don't like is the swamps by Hosan. That part is not fun to play.
I kind of like that area because you can do like all the foot pushes around on those mini hills.
Yeah.
No, competitively, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's the driving actually that ends up just getting over there, I guess. We're up by Shipyard again, though, so Genji, that's been their drop spot here for this game, and Falcons going over to the airport, and they will be A-OK once they get situated.
I love how the fact a lot of players joke that they don't like to go airport on this map because it feels like they're cursing themselves to go to the airport if they go there. The Falcons, not necessarily too afraid to play around it, feeling pretty good. This is a circle where we don't have too many teams in it. I mean, really, we've got a little bit of T1, but Jinji's going to have inside track and good positioning. While we've got the map up, I want to point out there's a whole bunch of kind of flatter, more open terrain, of course, over into the east, leading into and around the airport. But whenever we come into Shipyard, that territory just to the south of it has got this, I don't want to say big hill, but biggish hill that's over there that a lot of teams can kind of fortify around in different sections of, and kind of creates a fortress for everybody that's kind of playing in against the river that's more to the south. It's more open and flat, and then to that eastern territory.
Yeah. The hill around it is one of the bigger ones on paper for sure. There's a decent amount of trees and other things to it, but that's up by the Shipyard hill. So there is a lot of room in this circle, even though there's quite a bit of water. There's still options. They aren't great in some cases, where you might have to kind of hang out at the edges of the fields that have kind of those berms on the outside of them that you can try to hide underneath and wait things out a little bit, try to make your moment. But the real thing I have in mind right now is the fact that this circle is so far away from everybody. Like you mentioned earlier, not a lot of teams starting in it means that there could be one of those situations where teams run into each other while they're rotating or something like that.
Well, I mean, look,
I don't expect this of you, but if you want to help me, I would be grateful.
Maybe wanting to go to the opposite side
In
of
the
the
sewers
circle.
below
No
our city,
harm in
he
that.
looks a
You know, if
hard
you go to
creature
the
that
eastern
hungers for
area
human
of
flesh.
Shipyard, you can get your back
creature
up
has
against the
killed
water,
many.
push in, and know the fact that you don't have to scout as much to make you feel a little bit safer. Maybe
If
this
you
is just going to be one of those
destroy it,
things
I
where
will
you have a
reward
couple players go up, or no,
Please,
it is a full commitment. I was going to say maybe they're just doing some
That
scouting
beast
with
has
it.
taken enough from us
They
already.
want to avoid all of the mess because
Soon
we have been seeing
entrances through the
Shipyard a lot
tractor.
this year,
Just a
and
whisper.
it is just dicey over there, man. I mean, we just talked about PUBG Nations Cup. Brazil had a massive game coming out of Shipyard.
Yeah. I mean, you can fight out a Shipyard pretty well. Again, going uphill in a situation like this, a little bit easier sometimes, especially with the amount of cover that you're going to be afforded in parts of this area of the map. So, yeah, I think what 17's doing perfectly fine. I wouldn't be surprised to see them, like you mentioned, go to the complete opposite end here. They're going to see Genji underneath them, kind of center-ish. So I wouldn't think that would be where they want to get out. I think one of them just got tagged in the middle of the airport, guys.
Falcons rotated really quick away from airport. They already have Gustav that's got a foothold in those hills that we were talking about south of Shipyard. But it looks like they've got a couple of rotation options. I think that they're just going to get more control over that southeastern hillside. A couple other squads going to be rotating over that pretty close to it. Petrichor Road going to be right back behind. Tyloo actually has one Dragon that got stuck behind Petrichor Road. So the rest of the squad going to be in front is, 17's pulling, and they are going as far to the northeast as you can get on this map.
Yeah, I think this makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Looking for maybe some vehicles that didn't get scooped up along the way, and Wenbo's already got one for the team. And BC gonna roll into Shipyard proper. Figure out if anybody's in here. Genji has a player close. It's Bean and somebody else over there with him. Looks like D. As they went into a 2-2, but they're gonna drive away from this. They want to give Vicious Esports an opportunity to find a free pick or something like that. And they're just gonna spread out a little bit. They're leaving D on his own.
So while we're looking at what's going on with the circle, also remember that we do have, I guess, the river that turns into the dry river. That's a big component of this circle, going down into the south, and the territory that's just going to be to the west of that. That's also incredibly built. We don't know how the circles are going to pop, because remember, these are the new circles. For all we know, we can go back over to the west of Shipyard moon, just because why not? Really, Super is the only squad that's playing over there right now. I dare you to cross that bridge next to Shipyard. It's not going to be good, and I don't think that they're going to go that route. But we've got a lot of late rotators down to the southwest. You can see Sin's about to make their move. Anyone's Legend's going to be very close to them. Sharper's going to be back behind that. Even Shadow down there, as a lot of squads are like, nah, man, I don't even want to go center on this one. I'm just waiting for certainty.
This is what I'm a little worried about for Gen G, is D's all on his own. He needs to get the heck out of here, man. He is getting surrounded. He's going to have to do some damage.
This is a very interesting push coming out from BC. They see an opportunity. They abandon Shipyard. They go for the hillside, give themselves a decent spot. D's going to be playing the other side of it for now, but this is pretty vulnerable, specifically the 17. Hearing this firefight, they're also moving it pretty close. So the longer this goes in, I like this. A side rat coming in from Gen G on the side flank of it. D is going to go down. Is this going to pull Gen G off of it? No, they're going to commit. Bean gets down to 5.
Well, they have to at this point. I mean, D was dead to rights if they didn't get there quick, and being able to at least buy a little bit of extra time.
I bet you wonder how this town manages to stay safe with all the trouble going on out in the desert. But I can tell you that it's got nothing to do with the local town guards. They're all in the palace for some reason.
I like this from Gen G.
Jaren hired me and my mercenaries to help keep the peace around here. We're not cheap, but we're the best this wasteland has to offer.
Positions on this hillside, so they need to get out very quickly. 17's already just going to be the north of them. Vitality already over in the east and south. It's going to be Falcons and T1 kind of close as well. So abandoning that position, while it did cost them D, does also mean the fact that they can get into a better defended position for all of their neighbors that are due to start messing with them sooner or later.
I think the mistake there is just leaving D in the beginning. And I talked about when BC goes into Shipyard, that compound that D is in is actually pretty easy to encroach upon from the Shipyard spot. So that's exactly what happened. When you're on your own, you can't really defend that.
Super is going for an entirely different strategy right now, as it looks like it's all the way up into the north of Shipyard entirely. They're out in the water. They're going to go ahead and ramp into that section of it. Should be pretty okay. So with VC kind of abandoning this spot, Super's going to find it for near on free.
Yeah, but the Supers are going to have to get it done on foot now. Not going to have the luxury of having, a Dacia or a US or something like that as they try to make their way forward. Now, good news for them in a way is that everybody in front of them is a little bit split up. For the most part, BC's pretty coordinated, like in terms of being pretty close to each other. Like Xiao Wu, for example, who's on the edge of one of those warehouses in the Shipyard. Human can just do a little bit of scouting out there, make sure nobody's coming up behind him. He can watch the bridge a little bit.
Hide behind the cargo barges over here. He's got the pier that he can kind of keep an eye on. I mean, there are a couple of quick push capabilities coming up, and I wouldn't be surprised if Supers went for this strategy, maybe to see if maybe they already have or are looking for another emergency pickup that they could use, because we often see bouncing out Shipyard in that strategy.
You look like a sturdy adventurer. You know, I used to be quite a scoundrel in my day. I led the fiercest group of bandits who ever terrorized these sands. Nowadays, I run this here in and pretty much stay out of trouble. My days of adventuring are behind.
Full sense, Sharper. I mean, we even have Shadow as well as Petrichor Road all having to regroup on the hillside. We just keep talking.
Yeah, it's going to get a little bit chaotic, maybe. It's starting to really narrow down the amount of playable terrain that is going to be available. AGAL once again going to be in a fight early, but Salolzi spotted out Hausker before he could get that Panzer put into place. And all of a sudden, Tai Lu on the ropes early here against AGAL. Lee was getting called back in or something here. Falcons taking a bit of a fight against that Blue Vitality out there. It's going to take a point for them to come on, trying to hold the line. Some grenades are going to hit him, though. He's going to throw a stun in response, but at that frag, it almost got him.
The longer this goes on, the scarier it gets. JDG still needs to get the circle, and they're going to be wrapping over here, and they might choose the third party. AGAL feels like they've got the momentum already set up for themselves, but they don't want to overextend onto anything right now. They want to try to reset the pacing just a bit more, see if they can get any knocks. Lee's on the other side of this right now. Has a lot of vision on at least Salolzi on position, but this is kind of isolated. Not too much he can do.
I've heard that you are responsible for banishing Ontario back to the burning
continue on its merry way. It's going to pick around, and Salolzi just denies Lee to do anything.
My name is Drago, and I know what you're up against, my friend.
He could have maybe gotten
You ought
Salolzi
to
there,
look
but it
over
wasn't
my
cooked at all.
inventory
He
of
was kind of
items for
tossed it in.
trade.
Meanwhile, Delwyn trying to use the edge of the smokes. Yes, indeed. Goodbye. To try to do something about this. Hemas hits his teammate. That didn't go good.
Well, you know, if you go with explosions enough, sooner or later there's going to be a problem. One Dragon, now the last one up for Tai Lu, but only one up. And Nimas, as he's trying to go for the res as fast as possible. JDG is starting to get some vision on the outside of this. Fulson's also encroaching from the south, so the longer this goes on, the more problems continue to mount as One Dragon's across on the other side of the road. I don't know if he's going to go for anything else here, as it's just going to be pretty defended. I mean, he's going for a couple of peaks, but nothing's revealing itself.
This looked like it was going to be a pretty clean fight for
do that
AJAL, but it's gone very sideways very fast.
Sorry, I saw that Prince deny the grenade. It just reminded me of whenever Barney denied the shot coming up from Clark.
Yeah, just denied, absolutely. I mean, not that it would be hard to stop Clark.
He was trying.
But his best is never.
I don't know why you people keep pestering me. Praise. Look down Not that I couldn't have done the same. I've proven my valor in combat plenty of times.
As JDG going to go ahead and move away more into the west. Looks like Full Sense doesn't really want to get too involved in this. Fights emergency pickup just in case. They're not going to need it. Circle pops right on top of them. You get all the supers. Now you got to figure out how you're going to on a shipyard.
Greetings. I'm Machine, captain of this ship here. I make port runs around the Twin Seas and occasionally out to Kingsport and Westmarch. I haven't sailed anywhere lately, though. Jared has ordered me to stay docked here in case of emergency.
On their edge of the circle to keep AJAL pinned in if they try to encroach on their territory. Nixie just doing a little bit of a fact-finding mission. I mean, this is incredible from Salalti right into lead. Really nicely done. Now, if we get to see the follow-up from Himas, it didn't go so good. Now, this right here, that's your teammate there, bud. I mean, I get it. He was trying to get it around the corner to hit the other player, and Delwyn kind of walked into it.
Now that Antariel is dead, I can return and outfit the rogues properly. Once I've made some trades here, I'll be free to head back to their monastery. Let me know if you want to travel along.
The BP on this approach is really going to throw off the pace. Ian flanking back behind this one. Gets a good angle. Luke Brooks is going to go down, and BP with 2 players already knocked, and a PRDM just waiting to be stolen.
That's huge for T1. That is such a nice find. I mean, we saw how valuable that PRDM was for BP in the previous game. They're able to deny that one this game. That's awful for Virtus Pro, who played so well on Erangel. Here on Tego, not going to be able to recreate the same magic, most likely. Yes, BB and Grexy, very, very good, but as a duo, nigh impossible to be putting up double-digit kills. We'll have to wait and see.
I can trust you,
kind of right
you may be as shifty as that pack rat Elzix who runs the
nowhere to go. It is going to be Supers making the push to south right as BC is making their rotate. Pops inside of a vehicle, and Simon just gets instant drop by header. T1 hears that firefight. Looks like they're trying to backstab, see if they can get a piece of what's going on. Falcon's also going to be to the east of this with some minimal vision. Trees are going to deny out a lot, but it's going to be enough to make it complicated.
I know
that's
much
going to be
about the
another
ancient
knock
religions.
made from
I was
Rex,
trained
drops
as a
on top
paladin of
Duckman.
Zakarum
he's
in
able
the Eastern
to
Koras
do
Temple
some really
many
nice
years
damage
ago.
up there is Rex, because Heaven was really in a lot of trouble. Had to go prone into the smoke to get the heal through. Like this from the Supers, they got to clear an edge, and if they can deal with BC, at least make them weak, then they're going to buy themselves a little bit more space. Now, the concern, of course, is going to be that Falcon's also going to be up ahead of you, and you got a little bit too far ahead of the rest of them. Did Rex there, and he pays the price. He almost gets knocked by Falcons off screen. Meanwhile, the rest of Supers trying to find some kind of safety into this next circle, and they're getting harassed the whole way in.
I mean, there's a couple of shacks that you can play, but none of them feel super good. At least get you away from the Navi firing line just to the south. Anyone's also going to be approaching on a similar vector to this, and maybe distracts T1. So with deal down, it's going to be Tick that managed to get the shot. I think this is pretty safe from that firing line, and now T1's having to focus back onto Anyone's Legend, so that should be resible and safe. Shack Life, best life for now, is it's going to be a circle pops and moves away yet again, as man, Super is just chasing Circle.
Yeah, now it's just good, even more difficult. There are going to be more and more teams fighting for this territory. Taking that knock on a DL, really painful. The helmet going to be very beat up. Delwyn does find E-end off screen. Falcons here just staring down. And anytime the Supers try to pop out and do much, they're just going to be getting lit up.
Here are a lot of shots. That's going to be Anyone's Legend getting vision on T1, as well as Petrichor Road going for a regroup. They were running a bit of a 2-2 split. Up to the north, we also do have Shadow getting very close to 17. A lot of individual fights starting to break out. BC now trying to backstab on to T1. Type just denies out as much of that as he can try to get, but there's nowhere else for him to really go. He's got to deal with the looming large threats in front of him. Heather at least has the BRDM, but Vicious is going to go down. Not too many options as Na'Vi realizes they don't want to push into the circle yet. Instead, they're going to push into the face of all those squads that are stacked up on top of each other. See how much more they can get.
Well, Guman actually gets typed there. It's just that BRDM that's left for T1. They took a prize and they can't do much with it. The Supers fighting on a lot of different fronts and getting knocks, but they're also losing players along the way. There's DL back on the ground again. I'm curious if his helmet is even still attached to his head at this point. Rex takes a headshot, so all this gear is just getting absolutely destroyed, and along with their players, Rex falls to Trimsy's hands.
Supers just having a chain res while they walk into firing line upon firing line. Mass up on Tom's going to go ahead and get more damage on the Na'Vi and force their line and force their hand right into the Supers. Nowhere else to really go, but Trimsy's going to get a piece of it. Na'Vi is going to go down. And now that's more space for the Supers to deal with, but Falcons are very focused in dealing with Supers, while 17 feels like they're trying to take shots on the other side of Falcons.
It's gonna get a little weird here on this western edge. Himas, oh, not sure who got that knock. It was Himas indeed who got Heaven. So Heaven out in the blue, and it's gonna be quickly bled out, but Beamy all of a sudden springs to life. Virtus Pro split out very, very wide. Beamy made himself a foxhole, and he's gonna profit from it. Almost finds another.
I mean, this is just kind of hunkered down over here. Remember, we saw them take those 2 casualties early, so they've just been hiding over in this location. Human going to be his closest neighbor now of anyone's legend right on top of him. Falcons can't go into the path of the circle that they wanted to, so it's going to be Jinji in the compounds with defense. 17 behind that one. Falcons just got to send it, and it's going to be right onto the other side of what's going to be going on with VP. Correxy right in the mix of it all, and he's going to go down off this rotate from the Falcons.
Yeah, this is nice for the Falcons. They're able to get the kind of an already established position for themselves. A rock, a foxhole, a little bit of safety. Potentially get this res, unless Heather has something to say about it. Tanadol as well. That's a little bit of damage there to kick. Here goes Heather. Is he just going to drive into that? Oh, he just missed it. He had maybe rid it into the back of that car. He might have been able to get a knock.
Just a heady play coming up. Stay on top of the car. Oh, no.
I thought he's going to flip it.
Kickstart, making a kick flip there with his vehicles, and it looks like they're trying to see if they can contain Heather. I don't know. Do I just buy enough time maybe to get everybody inside the car? Do they have a panzer belt maybe in the back of one of them?
Now they just have to light it up. I mean, they've got to try to wear through that armor, but look how healthy this BRDM still is. I mean, maybe 75% health left here. And Gustav lucky. Oh, there's the run over. He got 2.
That's big. That is terrible. Full just watching on the outside of this. Falcons were having such a good game, finding so many kills, and to have it start coming apart this way, now it's just going to be an easy nade toss right into the thick of them all. T1's Heather as a solo takes down the Falcons.
That was such a tricky spot because of that BRDM. The Falcons there. I mean, Gustav got lucky on the first pass through. He had just gotten the health in when he got hit by the BRDM, was able to survive it because of that. And then still the reset there for Heather. And he is going to slurp up a lot of good utility.
I feel so bad for the Falcons on that one. It felt like everything was going good. 7 kills, 3 players up in the circle. And then good old BRDM T1 rolling right through your life. You can see that they went from feeling good to suddenly like, I don't even know how we could have done anything there a little bit different. Sharper now on approach to the circle. JDG to the south. As Full Sense has got control over to the west-ish, but also kind of the south as they're running a very wide 2-1-1.
I'm very curious about JD Gaming. What are we going to be doing here? Belmoth at least bullied away from their western flank. The bad news is that Sharper has some kind of angle down into Petrichor Road just ahead of this as well. There's orders up in the air.
Just after the BRDM beast himself.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
That's a hell of a shot. That came very close to Heather's BRDM there. That
just moves it a few feet forward. Ah, man, I don't want to play that game. Everything's fine. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that was Flash and Full Sense that took the shots. I didn't see exactly where it came out. There's just a spattering of solos that are over here. I mean, we can see that Human's trying to make a play on the Flash. A couple of shots. Doesn't get the knock. That's very atypical. I mean, usually Human can get those. So now he's put himself in an awkward spot. Beamy's just going to be the north of that, getting some Jin G's attention, as well as I think 17's.
Okay, there's the mortar. We found the scene of the crime, and it's a surprise from Tigger. It is going to be Guman getting taken out. Could not convert. Soul does find Beamy, so Virtus Pro will fall in 10th as well. So Virtus Pro not able to replicate some of that great energy they had from game 1, but that's okay. They're doing just fine.
Look at this. Full Sense already being compound. It's going to be Shadow ahead in the eastern side of it, and Heather in control of everything else.
That is just very excited to still be in this game, to be honest, because he's been able to salvage some extra points. We're already in the placement points as well, and it's definitely something that your team is going to be feeling good about as the next couple of days wear on. Another mortar exploding in the backside there, not really connecting onto anything that I can see. My eyes on the Gen G here with 3 players up. Maybe somebody makes a go at their kind of flimsy compound they've got up on the north side.
I'm just kind of confused in what you do down in the south. Okay, you're going to be moving into an open section of the circle in the south. Sharper on the other side, double up frag grenades coming out. Sharper's realized it's going to be really hard to get the circle. 17's already got vision on them, so they just got to take down Petrichor Road and see if they can get anything else out of it. And this has just opened up full sense to take whatever they want. Vitality, though, does look like they have the same idea as Sharper, but they're going to go after Sharper. Looks like they're sneaking him right back behind him, trying to see if they can get the backstab up, but it's just a second too late.
Sharper has to give up this ridgeline now, and that's opened up an opportunity for Vitality to potentially punish them a little bit. 17 still struggling over there. It's Reed intercepts and taking the point, and here goes Sharper forced into Petrichor Road. They're falling at the hands of Ming Ming and company. 0-4 getting in there as well. Earth, the only one alive in Petrichor Road, still has all 4 players up.
Full sense with 2 of their players just keep running back down here to see if they can steal anything. Going to go ahead and pick up one of the kills out there.
Some of Full Sense next to him over there, so he has to start letting loose with the grenades, but all that can really do is just move Tigger off the mark a little bit. Does have the answer. Actually doesn't use it just yet. And concerning, I'm not sure if Full Sense has spotted this. Maybe Belmont got a few of it. I believe that's
Shadow taking a lot of shots at Vitality, so Vitality has to go further down to the south. Suddenly Petrichor Road finds himself potentially again. Petrichor Road spins back on it quick. Ming Ming gets the knock on the Levante and makes it look easy, but that's going to mean a surrender of position coming up at Petrichor Road. And while we do see Vitality fall, Full Sense has got control of the south.
Yeah, this has been a really nice kind of slow and steady game. Tigger will be claiming Ming Ming, knocking Petrichor down in 6th. Yeah, Heather just vibing. I mean, nobody's going to mess with him for a while. Now, there was that Panzerfaust that we saw in one of those vehicles on the southern edge that Chewy from Petrichor Road had. So I'm wondering if Full Sense was able to scoop that up, and that may be the thing that ends up spelling Heather's demise. Meanwhile, Shadow Esports getting deep into another game. Let's see if they can get another win. We saw it yesterday.
Gen G's got to leave their compound position. We also have Shadow that has to push their way in. Heather's just kind of roaming around trying to see where he's not going to get shot at, to see how much more placement points he gets. He's going to jump back out, take a couple of shots. Very bold plays coming out. I think that Heather's found himself a bit more than he wanted. He's got Full Sense to the south taking shots at him. Gen G, the east of him.
Nobody's going to be happy with that here in a BRDM, though. I think it blew up. Yeah, it's gone. Finally, he's going to be going down. Soul will take him down in the end. That BRDM only had so much health and eventually gets blowed up. This BRDM still very much alive, so Shadow, we're going to see if they can maybe get a little bit further into this circle. Disney, quite a way to go here, Hansy. I mean, that's a solid 10 meters, 14 meters area there that you have to dig, so it takes a little while. Full set, full control, because they have that BRDM and quite a nice piece of land.
Most of the high ground for Shadow is going to be start putting yourself in the spots again. I like this go for the rocks, not quite yet. There was no every single time that they need to bounce into a new position, they've been roaming around. I'm talking, these guys are putting in the miles. They've been over into the east, over down into the south, control the west, time and time again, finding a new position to play for.
Yeah, well, the kills haven't been like astronomical for Full Sense. They've been really good at not giving up themselves for 3 to other players. Now, Pansy does go down, but Flash gonna steal that point away from Jimmy. That's huge. They get 8 points where they can. Full Sense, who are defending PGC champions, want to do better than they did on day 1. Up to 36 points now. So far, I think Shadow just knows that this is cooked.
Tigger's got a present waiting at the big ground. So Shadow's going to go down. The underdog story is still trying to continue right now as these guys make it in late stage yet again, finding some kills. And it's just going to be the lineup between Full Sense to the south and now Jinji to the north.
South Seoul with a Mark 14 there. So he's picked up some level 3
Yes.
weaponry for himself. Bean does have that Panzer, so if there's kind of an overstep from Full Sense with their BRDM, he might be able to punish it. It's just how aware, again, is Full Sense of that. They might just try to drive at it.
I'm a bit nervous for Jinji here. They do have this hillside, but it doesn't feel too good once you actually get into the circle. So they're going to try to go for a counter pitch on this one, but nice shot's going to come up from Tigger. That's 2 down. Jinji had a plan, and it was instantly destroyed.
Yeah, they're looking to try to do that exact same thing to that BRDM, and Tigger's having none of it. Over now, trying to take out the final method.
Bullying for the end of it, nowhere to go. Jinji is out, and Full Sense gets it.
Yeah, that's a really just sturdy game from Full Sense. Just kind of navigating a lot of tricky situations where maybe if you overcommit to something, because there's a ton of fighting on that southwestern edge where they're sitting, they're able to just kind of keep everybody else at bay, find their points where they need to, avoid any big damage, any big fights, get that BRDM and get the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of squads kind of stacked on top of each other, trying to go for full defense. While Full Sense was slower in their moves and approach, and it felt like consistently had control of the southwest. Time and time again in these very wide control angles where they were trusting each other to just really have each other's backs, and if anybody approached instantly,
What you need?
push them off. Jinji on the other side of that, just kind of holding down the compound for as long as they needed to.
Yeah, I mean, Genji there, again, kind of losing that player very early is D. The fact that they're able to get as deep as they do with just 3, not bad. Able to find a few kills here and there, not too bad. Just an in 5. Yep, that was nice. Yeah, that's just, again, it was a steady game.
I'm so glad we got the victory team whenever we saw the BRDMs rolling around instead of what we got the Falcons, because that just had to be the quietest. I mean, what do you even do? World Falcons, and respect for doing it, man, but yeah, that was one of the dirtiest things I've seen a PUBG.
It's just tough if you don't have the Panzer, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do in that situation, especially when you're stuck and you're taking damage? It's just really hard to kind of find a way out of it. And Heather, to his credit, played it nicely. That's kind of, he has a huge advantage, but still
That was a
got
great
done.
salvage game coming on from them. Of course, we're talking about Falcons and the weird BRDM stuff that happened with them, but they still had a decent kill count coming out of that game. Shadow, later stages, time and time again, finding just enough, it feels like.
They're hanging in there. They still need to pick up the pace maybe just a little bit. I mean, we were kind of talking backstage. We think the point cutoff is going to be somewhere around 60 points is kind of what we were sort of feeling at the time.
That's the inherent average that we can see.
Exactly. I mean, and so it's pretty standard stuff when you're playing 6 games a day for, 12 games total. It's just, I need to see just a little bit more from them, but they're hanging in there. Their macro at least can be good. When they're given opportunities, they can hang in there.
You know what I need to see? Anyone's legend surviving for, I don't know, Circle 4?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with them, but it is just, the rotates are just a problem right now. I don't know if it's their scouting. I don't know if they're just more confident in their approach than what they actually wanted. It's just absolutely crazy as we've got another squad in the hunt, and that is going to be Vitality. I believe Flores has Levante on the stage.
That's right, thank you very much, guys. Of course, Levante here, the big man himself here to talk about everything that's going on. So my first question, Levante, to start things off. This game just now, you're in the hot route, so 6 shifts away from you. What's the plan on the team?
Найти поинты, сделать игру максимально хорошую для нас, зафармить все и попытаться зайти в плейсмент поинты.
Points to make a really good for us to gather up and move forward. Yes, the circle 6, the form, okay, not so good for
play. And overall, what was your kind of impressions of yesterday? What went down? Do you think that you could have had a little bit more points on some of the certain games? What was your perspective on Dynamo?
Конечно, мы должны были и обязаны были вчера набрать больше поинтов, но мы допускали в своих играх глупые ошибки, из-за этого где-то не добрали, где-то обещали парням,
Creator program. Lots of rewards to be earned right there. But talking about earning rewards, a great reward for Full Sense finally showing up.
Finally showing up after catching a few circles and, of course, having a BRDM and, of course, having all the other teams kind of take care of each other. But look, PGC 2025 champions, they showed up.
We said in the pre-show they need to step up and have a day like the fact that you win the world and then kind of have to make a name for yourself, struggle back, prove to everyone you deserve to be in the final can be a tricky thing. So to get a win here, whether it's by an inch or a mile, doesn't matter. Chicken is a chicken. It cooks the same no matter how you get it. Is good for them, and I think sets them on a path to maybe grind it back up.
Do we think they were gifted that because Gen G just full sent with capability of the pace right at the end? But that's
Gen G could not have expected they would have a Panzer there.
Right, no, because the weight of the Panzer and especially like using it got nerfed, it's hard to move it, it's not the counter that used to be, so you have to stop using it as much, right? Yeah, you can't expect that. The BRDS, it's like, oh, nobody stops him. But here they come. Oh, there's a pocket Panzer. No one likes those.
I'm glad you guys are talking about that stuff because I got a chance to finally see the Splat Maker in action. It's not at all this one. Oh my gosh. That ending was beautiful. And then there was another one that hopefully we'll be able to show later on because Falcons, my goodness, Falcons. What were we thinking of? What is that? Team stats right here. That's full sense.
Yeah, I mean, we were having this conversation about Falcons before, you know, I was like, oh, they were kind of gifted a great zone, you know, but they lack that ability to defend their position. And I mean, you just took T1 to sort of use the exploit against them. And Falcons really slow decision making in that altercation with, I think it was Heather. I mean, they did an interview before, they were trolling in that interview, and I'm feeling like the trolling is bleeding
yes, Gustav and Kempster jumped out at the same time. And I think it just was a miscommunication. Shrimsy had the right eye. He's leaning out of the car. He knows he's not a threat to being run over. And I think maybe the other two just thought the other guy's taking that seat. I'm going to jump out and try to make the assist here. And it was just one of those situations where when you're in the circle, you can't see anything. The fire alarm goes off. You wake up. The whole house is dark. You try to run to the door. You smash your shins on the table. Like,
I don't think I've ever experienced that, but this was just a mess. I don't really know what else to say. Heather, I mean, Heather played well. He managed to get 3 kills off the Falcons. Yes, there was smoke. It was a sticky situation. I expected a different outcome. You know what? Yeah.
And the thing is that Heather just kept running into trees too. He had so much time to just
decision making from the Falcons.
Well, I don't think he thought he was going to last that long. Like, honestly, I thought he was trying to harass him. Yeah, 100%. Before he goes down, I think he kill me and take the spear. Yeah, well, you're not taking me until you blow it up, kind of thing. And he's surprised with the tree.
Why they had so many smokes out in the first place, but I mean, to stay on the ground on the just so it's rough. They had a ditch. It is what it is. I don't have too much on that.
Yeah, like you say, PUBG. And that's the beautiful thing about the game, right? With your friends, sometimes you drop, sometimes you have a bad match. You get back to lobby, you reset, you go again. So that's what these guys are going to do, and they're the professionals who can do it.
That being said, they at least had, I think, 7 kills in the game. But they still had points. It's not like it was just a complete donut for them. So yeah, it wasn't an awful game. It just ended unfortunately.
And for Falcons, they're kind of allowed to do that because it is their first day of groups. This is only the second map. They still have a lot more to go. As we're looking at now the overall, obviously for today. For some reason, you missed out yesterday. You missed out on absolute dominance from mid, but they're currently not playing here today. We have Virtus Pro now being able to pop up. Late Virtus Pro in 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, Virtus Pro is pretty much qualified.
Yeah, like, it's just like we've said from the game from the start, and this is what like a lot of teams are sort of lacking focus on, is taking those massive games in the early stages, and that's exactly what VP is doing. Like I said yesterday, it was kind of like a mid-range game for them, but they're sitting up in that top 3 because they know their competitors from yesterday.
Let's talk Shadow Esports for a second, all right? Because they got to the late game that time. They're at 44 points. Here's why we have the conversation. This is an example of, can a team make it work? They are shocked by how they walked away yesterday. They actually end up with a decent game too. They've got 4 more to grind out that extra 20 points. Do you think they can do it, Godspeed? He's sighing. He sighed loudly. You guys couldn't hear it at home.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this lobby, as it continues to manifest, I think the teams that are better than them are going to figure it out, and I think they're going to get trapped in rotation mainly. I'm calling it now.
It's much
they're
more
going to have
here on the Destiny.
They're going to have rotation issues. That's my guess for them.
I agree with that. I think as much as it'd be fun to go all in on them, I don't know that I can do that just yet.
You know, I ended up saying that my predictions have been going off on the pickups, but to be completely honest, Lace, I kind of just want to see them in the finals. I know you guys are saying that it's going to be hard, and honestly, we kind of saw that in the first game as well out of that squad, as they ended up with the big old donut on that first game. Here, being able to bounce back, but if they can maybe just string some good performances, they just might end up doing it.
Yeah, well, if we're talking about donuts, let's talk about another team that's been sort of sending those in, and that's Na'Vi. We're 2 games in. I know it's early, but I've seen 4 points, I think, total coming out of them in 2 games. I expect better when it comes to a team like Na'Vi.
I would agree with you, but for whatever reason, they just haven't been able to get it together. I don't know. That team, it's difficult for me to pinpoint what exactly the first 2 games. The first one, the circle was rough, right? Second one, still, it's rotations. They couldn't even make it in. So I think that's definitely something, as long as they can just, maybe the first 2 games, they weren't feeling it. Maybe they kind of had to go a little wider on their rotation than they wanted to, but either way, they should. I still think Na'Vi is okay. I'm not super worried about them.
They didn't really get to capitalize on like many eliminations in match 1, so that was probably their sort of time to get points on the board. But yeah, game 2, I just didn't even see them show up.
I just saw Vitality's get sent in. The last player getting patted on the back by the coaches looked like he was masked up and not feeling great. So that could something maybe get our team on the floor to go look into. Because again, Vitality in that race needs to be on their game, and if they're doing it with a player who's not feeling at the top, like that is something that can have a massive effect on the team. It hurts your comms, it hurts the speed of your thought, it really can get in the way.
Yeah, well, for this squad, especially for all the squads that are in Group A, you do have 4 matches left. For some of the other squads in Group C, you still got some time. You know, Falcons will let it slide. You did end up getting 7 eliminations. I just wanted to see the Splatmaker in action once again, but I'm hearing we have something amazing with Kalaris and Avenger on the stage.
That's right. Thank you very much, guys. Of course, there's a lot of great players here, but we wanted to talk about some of the very best so far here from Esports World Cup 2026. I am with Avenger, once again another very tall person here to talk about everything that's been going on so far, and we'd be missing the point, I think, if we didn't start with good old Kiss Magic.
Yeah, we have to talk about, of course, him coming here, changing into the French Kiss, getting 18 kills in just 6 games. Not playing today, but still leading that is just insane. I'm sure we've just played 2 games so far today, and it's all up for grabs. After the second game, Levante actually jumped into second place of overall damage, still behind Example.
Yeah, got to hear from him just before, of course, he's able to,
he's flexing on the lobby.
He's muscling everybody out of the way. He's one of the very, very best here so far. But of course, as you say, in terms of that damage done, yeah, you don't quite have Example here to be able to keep that going. But you say, what, 2 games still in hand, and he's still able to put up those kinds of numbers?
I think Levante is something like 3,000 damage, and Example with 2 games less played is 3,500 something, so still leading by more than 500 damage, having played less. So yeah, crazy amount of damage done yesterday. Remember that game in Miramar where he was on the roof, fragging out, getting tons of damage, but a few kills, he was farming.
All right, well, that's the prawns. Let's talk about some of the brains here as well. I mean, I'm not going to stick with Twisted Minds right now. I'm not going to talk about Batulis because he's always kind of in the focus of all of that. I want to go back to Myth, because Jacob really, with what they've been able to do so far, with PGSs as well as yesterday, that's a scary formula.
Yeah, every time we talk to them, every time we hear from kids like that, they're praising him so much because that he's put into these situations where they're able to frag out and get into positions where they're 3 or 4 lives. So Jacob, very much so for this year, I'm so close to them, so hopefully they can continue to push on.
All right, well, thank you very much, Avenger here. Of course, you should keep your eyes on all of these players. It's time to go to the commentators here for our next game of the day.
Okay, got about 4 games left on the day, and 4 games left in the livelihood of a whole crew. They've got to make sure that they get everything that they can get right now. We talked a lot about Levante and the capabilities, but this is a guy that's got to make sure he gets the end of the day.
That's a nice start for Vitality and Levante, but still work to be done for sure. I mean, you can't take it easy right now. You got to keep up the pace.
And once that happens, they're going to start leading up points around. I mean, there is maybe the lobby just doesn't have anything big that happens on the day, but that would just absolutely surprise me. AGAL needs to get something big going. If you look on the other sides of this, and if you are a Shadow fan, and they are in really them at Vitality, can they find enough to really sneak in about 20 shots?
Sure, there's still hope for Shadow. Definitely something to be said about this team. At least that deep in the game. A little bit more because I think this is a bit really starting to crack in the kill. 9-10 kills on this map, go absolutely crazy here. So definitely going to be one of those teams on this one that I am keen to see pop off. too far off in a lot of ways. I think it's
really.
I can't carry it.
Really?
Here's the way I'll say.
Look at me, Asia Papers in, and say that since the Petrichor Road.
Hear me out. I think AGAL probably has a little bit more firepower, but I think the brains on Petrichor Road are maybe a little bit better. I think
I'll kind of give you that.
Yeah, I think Petrichor Road could play a little bit safer and be a little bit more reliable, but when it comes to who has the higher ceiling, it's AGAL.
Yeah, I mean, if Petrichor Road doesn't qualify, I'm not going to be hurt. If anyone's legend doesn't qualify, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be really surprised by it, I think.
I mean, those are two teams that I had on my radar for today. Doing the pre-show segment with Lace, I was like, I think both of these teams have a lot to prove today and for various different reasons. And they're very good. You know, each team has a superstar fragger with Ming Ming on Petrichor Road and Himas on AGAL, two players who can take over a lobby when they're feeling it.
That the taste of
Just we haven't
vengeance
quite
is
seen
bittersweet.
that big pop-up from either of them yet.
How stylish is it? Of course.
In addition to my
Levante
undying
gonna go
gratitude, I have spoken on your
great.
behalf with the rest of the
He's just
townspeople.
flexing on everybody.
Yeah,
The merchants have agreed to show their gratitude by offering their wares and services at lower rates.
Okay, we're going to have visions in the center of the circle. JDG is the center of also kind of getting over there. The area east of Monte Nuevo is getting a lot of the attention that it rotates right now. A little bit further east of where we can see Vicious going is going to be 17. North of that, T1, Falcons, a little bit of vitality over there as well. Coming out of Picado to the north of it is going to be Supers. To the south is going to be Navi. But BP's making a route right in between Navi and JDG right along the road.
Ooh, that was a good grenade there. Did 40 damage to EN, so the Falcons trying to put some pressure onto T1, but this is the strong side of T1. They're in a 1-3 split with Raven quite far ahead of the rest of them, and Falcons is just committing to this. Shrimzy leading the charge with the M249. The grenades are going to splash out, but they're not hitting the Falcons, so far, T1.
I'm scared. It's Heather on the side of all players for Falcons to be going against right after that last round. Heather, though, not finding the opportunities they got inside that just quite yet. In some trouble, and their couple of shots going to connect and not going to get the knock. Seeing if maybe a repick was going to happen, doesn't find it. Nade's going to be prepped up. They're a bit flustered, so it looks like they're trying to get some space away. Shrimzy is going to get the knock on Ian with the molly.
I was just about to say, that molly flipped into Ian. He's in trouble. Type trying to get in here to do something. Heather trying to hold the line, but now Falcons is kind of dug in. I mean, Type's got to get Tingleton down, and he hasn't just yet.
See if he can find any more. Just a couple of taps from the bullets. Tig's doing a good job on juking away, but there's just too many T1 players on the outside. Tig's going to go down, so you sacrifice Tig to get control of the building. Can't get anything else as Heather is now close range threat. Raining and Type now regrouping.
Now Raining had to drive back to try to relieve some of the pressure here. So far, Falcons haven't been popped. Oh, what a bunch of shots from Heather. Gets up into the window, and Gustav had no idea he was there.
Man, Heather is just like Falcons kryptonite right now. See if they can get enough timings on this one. This is very far to the north. No other squad is really capable of third-partying any of this, so T1 can just kind of take their time. Dancing around the outside of this, maybe Sharp could go for a ramp back around, but sounds like we have C4 getting prepped and ready to go. Runs around the outside, but it's getting tight on the defense. Falcons out real early.
Like that C4 there, because it forces Falcons out into the open where T1 has control. That's beautifully handled. You can even potentially get a revive. There is that station that's just to the north of this. They could go for, do have Vitality, who eventually made their way over here, but if they were looking to try to third party this fight, they are a little bit too late. They will at least be able to take the space for all the trouble that T1 just went through. Falcons as well. Go of it.
Oh no. Yeah, right as soon as we saw him walking over. Okay, who's the person driving the car?
I mean, we were just bigging up Levante in his cool car, and then he does that.
I mean, look, when you're vibing and you're just kind of like rolling around, yeah,
maybe he's hating.
Just a little bit. Show age here as it's going to be wrapping down to the south. Full Sense is going to have the upper area of Chimacera under control, but nobody else really holding down Chimacera. Monte Nuevo is going to be Tai Lu, and then it's going to be Brickyard for AGAL. Most of the squad's kind of a bit spattered across the hillside.
I'm very curious about Shadow Esports, way up on the north. Very wide map, but that's an awful map. It's kind of like them playing for
no more of the Chumacera staying center area. Really, that's going to make the power grid players a bit sadder as they're going to have to come down from the hillside. We go power grid, so that means that this is what I was afraid of. Look down into the southwest. All those squads are now going to be wrapping the power grid hillside to the west. The lower sections around Picado Graveyard, this is really weird because we've got that giant hillside that comes south from San Martin leading into Picado.
Yeah, this is a tough circle because, like you're talking about, Matt, that area between Monte Nuevo and Picado, you want to take space early, take compounds early, because if it ends in there, like you were mentioning, it becomes really difficult to fight through that part of the map. But now there's a lot of mountain in place, so there's actually quite a bit that teams have to work with. Opened up an opportunity for JD Gaming to keep on keeping on. There were some helicopters up in the air, some emergency pickups being thrown into the mix, but maybe AGAL the only one who's going to commit.
17 heading back home to Picado after being gone for all this. Other side of Picado, looks like Genji is going to be trying to take that to the south. Wilson's going to be ramping it back behind Petrichor Road as well as Navi. AGAL with their emergency pickup could be going literally anywhere. Shadow's still nowhere near the circle. They're going to be coming on the other side of Monte Nuevo, as it is going to be Vicious going for more of an approach onto that lower hillside coming out of Power Grid to the west, as well as Tiny taking control over that just a bit before them.
I want to talk about where Sharper is right now in relation to kind of the circle and how much control they have. I mean, they have everything from San Martin all the way down to halfway into this phase 2 circle. It's huge, honestly. Punish them, but if nobody does, I would expect that Sharper's going to get pretty darn deep into this game potentially and look to do some real damage here, but we'll have to wait and see. T1 does end up getting back up to their full strength. Now they did have a knock on the outside of the power grid area there, and there's that emergency pickup. So this is, where does AGAL go? This is what I'm looking at. Sharper, if they can keep AGAL from getting in the middle of everything and causing problems, it should be A-okay, and that's damage.
Play coming from Navi. They lost Ferris for it, but that was a power play.
Yep, that's kind of maybe what you needed here as Navi to start getting a little bit of wind behind your sails for this match, for this day. Here come some mortars. They're not even going to land on screen, hitting behind all of this. VP is making the wide wrap around to the north side. T1 still dug into the firehouse on the north side of Power Grid. They haven't moved a muscle since they won that fight against Falcons. Meanwhile, I really like this from VP. They had two options there. They could have gone for the emergency pickup. I think if the circle had gone east, maybe they had done that. Instead, they want to go north. They realize that there's some open space up there.
Going for that more northern wrap. They are going to be right next to each other now. Nowhere for Shadow
you know, for Shadow, kind of a tough couple circles where they were trying to make some, you know, later rotations to see if they could catch a hard shift. Instead, it hard shifted away from them, so now they have to do a little bit of fighting. But again, the good news is you at least made Full Sense pay the price. He took one away, and Full Sense does have one player in the circle. Tigger is there. Let's take a look at how this happened, maybe. Here's the crash from Na'Vi. I mean, just out of the cars, and a lot of dead players from JD Gaming on the ground. You're right, Ferris actually falls to Tai Lu there, but overall, just a clean drive-by.
It gives them center of the circle in a great position on the outskirts of Power Grid to work with pretty much wherever they want. Here's Shadow continuing their run in the circle. They did manage to get away from Full Sense, but can they survive the new set of threats that are going to be around the Petrichor Road? Coming up very close range back behind all of it is Power Grid yet again, being the focal point of Vitality, just loving every moment of it.
Oh man, maybe we get a little Power Grid finish, we get a little death match going there. In the end, that would be rather fun. I think, let's see, we see circle in the
lost Herodric Scroll.
An opportunity,
what a fortunate turn of events. As the last living Herodrim, I alone have knowledge of its meaning.
Not ideal. You gotta kind of play a little bit of
read the
defense around the
Herodric
backside to make
runes
sure
it bears.
that you can't jam enough players in there. Really, one is only going to be safe.
After binding Bale within Tal Rasha, magically sealed off his burial chamber from the mortal realm. Those same mages also crafted fearsome Herodric staves and imbued them with the special power to open the chamber's hidden door. After nearly losing one to the thievery of a rogue sorcerer, they divided all the Herodric staves into two parts, wooden shaft and metal headpiece, hiding them separately to safeguard them. The Herodrim foresaw our current plight and designed the hiding places to reveal themselves to worthy heroes like you. Collect both parts of the Herodric staff and unite them using a Herodric cube. Then you may enter Tal Rasha's burial chamber.
The Petrichor Road also managed to get very close to Pal, so maybe that digging could be important for him in just a moment. Shots now starting to come out on 17. Approach over there, Jin Ji's also going to get the new target of 17 in their wrap. Petrichor Road at least finding some safety, and here we go. We've got 17 now stacked up. Jin Ji going to be right in front of them. They did at least manage to bypass Sharper as well as anyone's legend, but Jin Ji, where are you going to play from this one? They've got to be careful. They don't want to overpeak because it's going to be T1 with supervision of this.
Yeah, those are good shots, though, by Soul. He did more damage than he took there, so he's at least able to afford himself the opportunity to move his car back just a little bit while 17 has to regroup. Knew he was in grenade range, so wanted to try to get out of that as best as he could. Get a better firing line from the rest of his team. Meanwhile, BP cutting in towards Full Sense. Full Sense trying to dive into the power grid proper. Nixie running out of bullets there. Might have popped a tire, but Full Sense at least gets to the fences.
Where we started with Falcon's death is where everybody seems like they're focused on getting to. Full Sense does find a nice little position to play for now. VP's going to now have control over everything into the west. Tai Lu's still got to get into the circle, and it's going to be Shadow. Actually, Hinsey he's got all the way in the power grid by himself. The other players for Shadow are right on top of Tai Lu, and it looks like they're just full on stealth as Tai Lu's literally driving over them right now.
I mean, I wouldn't think that would be possible, but it is. I mean, they've done it, and Jexy actually finds another kill there. Tight knows that Full Sense is out there. Jexy gets two, one with the barrel, one with the Mark 12. Looking to see if he can finish this off. Tai Lu getting absolutely shredded. Another angle is found there. It's actually Beanie from VP who gets that. A grenade almost finishing off a player of Petrichor.
Circle is popped. We're keeping in most of Power Grid, but we're going to move into the more open sections of the south and the hillsides into the east. Petrichor Road still has to vault over what's going on with Supers as well as Vicious in front of them. Luckily, Tyler falling off to one side has denied out a competitor onto one angle of approach. But I don't know how Petrichor Road can fight their way into this. There's just too many squads around them holding too many angles. If they fight their way into the north, they're going to have Ewan back behind them. If they try to go east, it's just going to be BC holding them out.
Yeah, Rex is driving way on the southern edge of this right now. TL was watching from the high ground. A little bit of motion, just couldn't quite get there in time. Yeah, so he's going to go down. And Human trying to do what he can here, but now the Supers are at a man disadvantage compared to Petrichor Road. He's not going to do much there.
and I have concluded that the Dark Wanderer who passed through here recently was Diablo himself. Drognin believes that Diablo is searching the desert for the secret tomb where the great Horadric mage Tal Rasha keeps Baal imprisoned. You must find Diablo and put an end to the terrible evil that has fallen upon our city. Drognin is wise and is sure to have some helpful advice for you as to how Tal Rasha's tomb may be found. It may take you quite some time to find the tomb.
Not finding the angles yet, at least getting some damage.
Oh, actually, I think Hansi is getting some damage into the backside of Virtus Pro here, who are trying to fight tooth and nail. This is kind of turned into a tricky situation for VP. Looked like maybe they could have taken a favorable fight, but Shadow, little do they know it, an extra player already up towards the power grid proper. Jexy going to confirm the point. Use these blue zones to scooch ever so much closer into the threat range. There is a res that happens for Virtus Pro.
Okay, also Vitality has some angles of vision. What's happening over here? Nixie, though, shit shuts down Kamal's. Nothing to be had there. VP on a rampage, trying to push their way forward. Jexy taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down. That leaves just one up for Shadow right on the edge of the zone, but VP still needs to get in the circle. They've got VC in front of them, and they're trying to avoid the Vitality firing line.
Look how weak Mimi is. I mean, he's 1 HP here, so anything that hits him is going to put him on the ground and basically put him out of the game with the circle that close to them. Well, somehow the Supers have kept themselves going, took Petrichor Road out of this. We'll get a couple kills out of it, but still in the game, maybe get the placement points if they can find some level of safety there on that eastern side. And there's that shot connecting into BB. He's down. Nixie into trouble as well. Tycon springs from the shack, instantly deletes Corexy, and Nixie just gonna go out.
VP gonna fall. VC just too defended in their position. They were having to hold down this for so long just due to the way the Supers are playing this yet. Supers are just sitting at center of the circle. Well, no, maybe let's just go all the way to the north of the circle. So let's make it full on Korea over here, as it's going to be T1, Jin G, and now Supers all right on top of each other.
All right. I mean, T1 is now going to finally have to make a move. The circle has kind of kept that compound in for some time, so they're making some fortifications that they can, but these are outside of the new zone. There is a little bit of ability to potentially go into that northernmost warehouse where I think the Supers are going to go right now, so they're going to be beat to the punch there just a little bit. AGAL on foot, looking to maybe do some damage on the edge. Clear 17 out before they have to make another move, but they still have Sharper, danger close, and there you go. Getting some shots towards them as they try to cross.
Soul might also get some vision if they're not careful, so push is going to be aggro, it's got to be fast. Nimas can get into this angle. I think that he spotted out. Does he know exactly how much he can get? 17 moves quick. Looks like maybe Zhao Wu spotted it. Quick counter move, and Soul is going to be able to get the knock onto Heather. That's going to start the catalyst of things happening into the north, as a couple of shots are going to be enough. 17 now moving closer to Jinji on one side of it. Dion just walks right up in the face, gets the knock on the Soul, but it's getting dicey over here. He gets counter knocked by Bean.
All right, Bean at 5 HP, takes down 2, the barrel, but he's going to get backstabbed by EN.
There's no trouble
trying to hold T1 back to save his team, but he's the only one alive. He's in the blue, and he's in trouble. 17 ends up getting taken down by Destroy's grenade. Dean just trying to throw everything he can at this, but it's not going to happen.
AGAL wanted a piece of that and couldn't really get it. Delvin still having to hold back Sharper, and T1 just dominant position over in the north. 8 kills already, and they're starting to stack up all together. Anyone's Legend doesn't really want to approach on that angle anymore, and instead use the hillsides. They're starting to focus more down onto Sharper in the defensive positions that they're playing. While the Supers, who were all the way up next to T1, use the fence row to come all the way down and get into a great position center of the circle.
I mean, if T1 doesn't lose any players here, they can keep those vehicles relatively healthy. They're going to have a lot of outs potentially outside of that warehouse. This edge for so long, that's not fun. This team he's getting shot from a bunch of different angles. It's EN who gets the knock.
A lot of squads that need to be yesterday and definitely mind anything T1
on active. Really quickly running into the base of Charlotte, realizing the way that the circle's popped, they want to go for it. Denowat's going to defend. Ian's going to back towards the eyes on the BC, trying to get control of the southern area. It's going to be Navi trying to keep control over the center. Movement happening for Vitality, going to be keeping eyes on what's going to be going on with Supers. All of this just stacking on top of each other while BC finding an angle of approach.
Yeah, this fight though for Navi's position, one of the most important in this circle. Supers are going to go down to Vitality. Tanawat getting over there, taking, raiding down with Earth. All of a sudden, T1 a nice piece of control, able to get a piece of the defense. Themselves into a spot. Continue to cut through some of these other teams. Navi, 3 players strong, holding against BC so far.
How long does Shadow Surge survive? How much can Vitality get here? Just wants to make sure nothing's going on.
Sound cues gave that away. I could see how my man tracking him with his arrow on the map, so he knew he heard it. And get any further in this one. Decent salvage game again, up to 50 points here for Shadow Esports, so he very much could be in that grand finals. They're on pace to get there. They get 6 points in this game, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, and that's plenty to continue to have the point pace you need to find yourself linked in the last 3 days here at EWC 26 and PUBG Battlegrounds. Tanawat takes down Hackatory. This team is on fire right now.
Yeah, Hackatory going in the center so much. Still up. He's in a vulnerable spot. He goes for the peek onto it. Sharper going to be trying to put the damage in. That unlocks BC to counter-wrap to the south of this. Navi's position that they were playing from was so strong, but BC has got a man advantage on position. And this has also drawn all the attention down to the south and allowed Vitality to get out of power grid.
Tycon here looking to take Spyro down, but it's Tanawat's blue zone that is going to find it. Tycon looking to steal the point. Clicked on the head once. Just needs a couple more bullets to land there, but there's pressure from Vitality. Navi gone. Tycon doing some heavy lifting there in front. Sharper needs to recover.
And it's Levante that got the angle onto them, so we're looking at this hillside. An approach to the north from Sharper down to the south. It's going to be BC and Vitality that wanted to go for the center. Maybe balled up a little bit too much. They're going to retreat, try to get Gadrox back up, as it looks like it is going to be a 4v4v3 in this all.
This is a key game for Vitality. Yeah, getting deep, getting some kills. If they can get the win, they're going to be feeling a lot more comfortable about that random finals positioning. Sharper, BC have something to say about it. BC's looked really good to me, taking some really nice fights, being really disciplined, holding their line, not giving up some of that spacing. Their spacing's been really good. That's the biggest thing here for BC, not opening themselves up to some opportunities to get just fragged down, shot down. They're being really proactive.
It's not Quizzy with the mask, but we also saw him in between rounds with that mask. It seems like he doesn't feel the best right now. Getting a good game here is going to make it a lot easier whenever you're feeling sick. So hell am I mad with eyes on to Bird's position. BC though, just using the standoff in the north to take more control over everything. Tycon's going to be the guy leading the way. Sharper one side, looks like they're making the focus onto Vitality. Vitality doesn't have much to play in the circle, just the outer walls, and Tycon is going to be corralling him in. He does get the knock on the Levante, and that is a big knock onto Vitality. Sharper looks like they've got a good block on position, and hell am I bad, now also under duress.
Great read here from Sharper, knowing that there wasn't going to be much of an opportunity for BC to swing the other way. He's going right into the mix. Tycon finds Gedrox. One player left. Tanawat couldn't quite see him. He tried to overhand. You're out in the open. Hell am I bad. Going to get one more. He's taken down. Quizzy gone. That is the end for Vitality.
To be vicious. 9 kills up on top. Sharper stacked on top of each other, and with the car push, they managed to get some kills, but they are now in a very vulnerable position. Earth just back up against the blue zone along with Jedi, as it is VC with control over the center, and they realize this ain't gonna work. They're gonna surrender over the blue zone, and that is Vicious Esports with a victory.
Yeah, again, really good spacing in a lot of those fights, and they play that game really, really nicely. That early setup they had, I really liked, where they had Tycon up in the shack with 3 players down below him to guard it, because that's a really tricky position to defend if somebody gets underneath that shack. So really like their setup and the way they're able to use that to catapult themselves into the lane.
It's the big game for Vitality. They need more
was a little bit of a dicier start on everything. They understand what the win conditions are for them to succeed in here, but can they keep it up?
Very impressive that they just kind of keep chugging along. You know, they're the little engine that could here at UWC, and it seems like they may be able to get to that finish line, at least to go into the grand finals. But also Sharper, again, I talked about it in the very beginning of this game, around phase 2, where they had complete control over that northern edge of the circle, and that's the reason one of the reasons they're into this game later as it goes, because they have so much space to maneuver. Even with hardships away from them, they still have so much control that they have,
for themselves, they're really playing for their entire family.
They have defeated their demons! They have crushed the curse!
Blessings to you.
Hello, we are here for the Sony Media Tour at the backstage of the Esports World Cup 2026. So let's take a look at everything that's going on, as we have got some of our players already getting their hero shots done as well. As you can see here, made in Thailand, 2 times BGS champions. Look at the size of that tripod. Whoa. For such a small phone. Size does matter. Right, let's take a little bit further on. Kiss, what a legend. What a legend. Maybe we'll chat to him a little later on. Let's move on further down, of course. We've got a lot more other stuff going on. I can see Team Liquid in the distance here, getting all of their media sorted. We're getting a lot of introductions into how all these players are setting up, how their feeling is for the tournament as a whole, of course. And you can see they're getting mic'd up as well. I think we're talking about some stuff. A very different setup here for Esports World Cup 2026. As you can see, another lovely stage. And over to my right-hand side as well. Actually, I can even sign this myself. This is for all of the players to sign as they do come along. But right next to, don't know who that is. Just put myself right there. The real goat of esports. So I can now make a little bit of a move on into the quiet zone. Come in, man. Alright. Whoa. Spooky. Alright, as you can see, as signified over here by the quiet zone. Pay close attention, because we're going to be on a little bit of a trip, an excursion through the quiet zone to see exactly what is going on. A wild Avenger. A wild kiss. Exactly. And let's take a look at what's going on in here as well. As you can see, you can see Polosaurus over there is getting ready to do something. He's about to say something incredibly stupid, but maybe, just maybe, we'll get a glimpse of it later on. Alright, let's take a look at what's going on over here as well, in the quiet zone, and peek in. We've got Avenger there, and we also have Virtus Pro.
I'll put that to good use.
Being briefed, apparently, on what they need to do here. Alright, more here in the media area, as we do have ourselves. Hey, the Falcons, boys! We got Shrimsy and Kickstart. How are you doing? I'm doing fantastic, and you? Feeling great. I love the pajamas, they're awesome. Alright, let's get these boys in here. We're going to film a little bit of media with these guys as well, as we're going to have them guess some of the plays from previous tournaments. Anyway, that does it here for the media tour as a whole, so I'm going to get on with the Falcons,
I'll put that
boys,
to
and
good
we'll see you
use.
next time. Alright guys, it's gonna be the quiet zone.
sure that I can. Absolutely not. Absolutely. One more opportunity to see players in their natural habitat. Nothing. Spectacular scenes here at the Esports World Cup.
Welcome back as we have decided to just go and explore Paris a little bit more. We find ourselves on the rooftop of Novotel. Shout out to them for actually letting us use this spot because it's amazing. But as we have hit the halfway point of PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 26 group stages, honestly, we gotta recap a little bit what's been going on. We just saw the Vicious being able to get a chicken dinner. But if we go back to day one, I mean, that storyline was just straight up myth. I mean, if that's what we're doing, if we're saying let's take that halftime, let's look at where we're sitting in the tournament right now. Myth, and I just wanted to get to. These two are insane. Myth, 3 wins on one day is unheard of, and the fact that they could come back and do it again tomorrow. Every legend starts with Myth, and these guys are close to taking that title for themselves. Name change in the future.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of sat there after match 5 at like about a 7.2 EA average, which is it's not bad. That's exceptional. But before that, they're actually on a 5.5, and that was because of the several chicken dinners that they have, and that amazing match six where they got like 5 eliminations and that win. And I mean, that's exactly why this team is bringing it home.
They are going to be bringing it home, and the scary part, if you're a Myth fan too, or if you're just scared of Myth, what they're doing is that today they're getting a break. Today they're getting a chance to see what everybody from Group C is going to be doing, and Myth is just looking at them like, let me see what you guys are going on because we're going to come in hot tomorrow. Stress. I mean, they've actually played 3 games so far, and Myth and Twisted Mind still haven't been caught by the 9-game teams, right? Like VP, yeah, they're having a week catch-up time, but they still haven't closed the door on those two. Like, it is crazy how far ahead Myth was at the end of yesterday. Yeah, for some of the other teams, we talked about it earlier, but we need to touch base as we're going to recap everything here. Full Sense finally ends up showing up. They didn't win today, but they need to start being more consistent because now they're going to be going into their final 3 matches, and if that consistency is not there, tomorrow they're just going to be sitting down watching the show list, just playing their nails.
Today is all to really do something there. I mean, it was a little surprising, I guess, from the first kind of group stages that we had, but you know, they do know what's ahead of them and what they need to pick up on. And look, it's an okay job. I feel like it needs to be a little bit more aggressive. I feel.
The problem is when you look at the leaderboard right now, you think, oh, maybe they're okay, maybe they're in 7th, but you got to remember they have 3 games up on 16 of our teams, and that is time that has to be made up somewhere. So for those teams, even Shadow, our defending world champions, everybody who's got those 9 games played, just because they look like they're in a good rank now doesn't mean it carries over, which is even more stress laced because that means they don't know what happens tomorrow. They have to put up, I would say, easily 12 to 15 points higher than they expect to make sure they are still guaranteed the advance.
Just imagine playing this and then watching the games just from your hotel room going, oh, did we make it enough? Did we make it enough? I mean, it's crunch time right now, but yeah, I would not want to be in that position. They definitely need to amp it up.
Being honest, it might not be that bad. You're not wrong. I know teams who, when they're in that situation on the 3rd day, they'll just go to lunch, or they'll take a day at the zoo, or they'll do something like that. Their coach obviously is like watching the whole time to give them updates, but I've met teams who are like, you know what, we don't even look until the very end, and then have that stress looming over us. How about some of the other squads that have came in today? 17 Gaming. I mean, they've been team one was able to do it, and they ended up eliminating Falcons early on as well.
Yeah, I was sort of touching on this. Like we looked at match 2, and we just being able to their situation, and it looks like T1 is just quickly the Falcons wins at the moment. It's going to get a match 3, and it's just a manipulation from them too.
I mean, they're from my region, one of the Falcons boys, but this has been a very rough start. Now, I'm not going to write them off. How many times have we seen the Falcons sort of arrive up and go full phase Sunday, if you will, on that last performance day? So I'm not going to write them off yet, but it's been a very tough run for them. T1 looks so good to be as high up on the board as they are. 13th place, only 3 games played at 30 points. That's the same track record that Myth on yesterday. So these guys are very comfortable. Another team that's in that same situation when we were talking about being in that Group A, maybe not performing as well. AGL this round just to the point that we expected to, right? You're thinking about insane players that they have in that roster. Hey, Max, we need to be able to see them being able to bring it up. So you know what? I think it's time. We want to continue talking on. We might stay here at the top of Novotel a little bit longer, but for now, I want to see what's going to be happening at the stage.
It is time, of course, as we have a few more games coming up here for the halftime. But we want to kind of touch on exactly what was going on really there. For the Vicious, I mean, you've got Tycon finally being able to step on and back on the international stage here, Matt.
I mean, dude, you gotta love Tycon. I always had like mental images of that clutch that he managed to bring up, like kills by himself. I clutched out the I got in trouble because I think I said some naughty words at the end of that cast, but I mean, it deserved. Tycon's that good of a player, so it's great to have him back.
Yeah, look, and especially you and I casted Tycon, I think, in one of his first games, right? He go back to the superstar. Now, I'm hoping he has the team behind him. So far, the way they play that south edge, the way that they kind of push Vitality out, they watch for the other team coming across, which of course was sharper, and they were able to capitalize. And winning that game is going to be a huge boost of confidence for them as well.
I think the first time in Fantasy that we ever played, and Tycon was a sub on that. There is 10k.
Didn't you also pick him up like super early and rub it in our faces?
I may have heard
something Jinx would do, yeah.
Ear to the ground, as it were. But let's see.
You're so low, you should.
Yeah, I mean, because you're so much shorter than someone who's so much
Let's talk about some of those teams that are on the bubble here for this one. Of course, we've got teams like Tyler, AGAL, and Petrichor Road all really needing to step up. It does feel like Tyler's probably done here.
I think Tyler was done, unfortunately. I mean, even if they have an incredible last 3 games, they're still 6 games of the other group coming back in. On top of that, I haven't seen anything from them. I think they're going to be final boss.
I mean, Tyler's just not getting there. Petrichor Road finds something.
I can't carry it.
AGL, I'm begging you.
Just shoot.
They're the kind of team that can have 30-point games in the past. We've seen it before. It's time to head on over to the commentators here for day 2.
Hello, friends. It is I, Porosaurus, joining Mr. Avenger on the cast for these final 3 games of Groups A versus C. And it is last chance saloon for those teams in Group A that may need to make that deadline. Looking very, very difficult for some of these squads.
Yeah, the fact is, top 16, will have their dreams crushed. In our crusher, we have 3 more games to go here. We're going to be kicking it on Rondo, Paul. What's your thought on this?
Never would buy a condo.
I am overburdened.
Too much violence.
Too much
Right.
I got the dog. You know, he's just
I need sleep.
barking all the time. Not a
and then on Rango finishing things off. We were talking about the hypothetical call line yesterday, Paul. Yes. I said 55-60. I think 55 is going to be plenty safe considering how much points the top has taken. It took Virtus Pro 3 more games to catch up, and they have now tied Twisted Minds about 69 points.
Yep. Virtus Pro has been having a bang up for sure. As has I mean, still work left to be done, obviously, but with 3 more maps to go, I think those guys a little bit more.
Yeah, we're giving a little bit of a hard time to the Falcons here, but the fact is there is 6 teams below that have the worst performance. That is Gen G, it's Navi, and it's AGL. But let's hear what the title has to say.
船厂的仓库比较丰富，你的路线会比较偏多一点。
There you go. Yeah. It's a short interview, and it's also been a short pleasure event today. Unfortunately, one point in 17 points yesterday. They're on 20. Currently very, very far down the leaderboard. It's going to be a little bit rough for them. Sure, there are some other teams that have only played 3 games so far. Navi, Gen G, AGL, Petrichor Road, and JDG have also a very low amount of points today here. 12, 12, 10. It's somewhat low after 3 games, but then again, we've seen it before, Paul. We've seen these chicken dinners with double digits, and it can definitely be happening for JDD here with a Jiaotin home turf circle for them. They've only had 7 points so far today. This is their game. This is their chance to turn that around.
Yeah, this is, we were having discussions in the green room prior to the game and talking about teams like Tyloo. China as a region has delivered some very impressive performances so far. The switch to TPP obviously working out really nice for Petrichor Road for 4 a.m. But it feels like that region is getting very tough. And once you get past, Petrichor 4 a.m. 17, it starts getting a little loosey-goosey down there as to how much success you're going to see from them at an international level.
Yeah, 17 Gaming has had uncontested spots most of the time throughout today here. They only have 2 more points than Falcons. They've not had the best of games so far. And fantastic entrance for this circle here. They have a pretty easy entry towards the central stadium area. JD's always getting ready. They're already taking some of the best spots right now. Looking to see if that gas station is free already. AGL coming in from that northward side over to Bailey. They're going to have quite the space here. Considering how far northwest this circle is, I'm really wondering how many teams are going to try to backfill it. We have Falcons in the north, sure, they're coming from that, but how many teams are going to try to swing around?
You typically see this on stadium circles like this, where everybody immediately tries to send, you see such a cluster towards the center because those positions of power, those strong positions are at such a premium. These teams are willing to make those high risk, high reward sends right towards the dead center early because they're so convinced that it is going to end up paying off for them. So we'll see now that we're getting a little bit later in. It's 4.5 minutes. That's late at this point in a circle like this, but so many teams still outside, still fighting their way in. It's going to be interesting to see how many try to go in and still send towards that center or just kind of play around the fringes.
Yeah, about half these teams are already looking at how can we get into this circle, try to get some of them already here. And also, let's break it to you guys. Rondo in general, especially for land ratio, this area has so much unplayable terrain that is counted in land ratio. It has water, it has these high ground, it has these pillars. Now, with this, that we don't have land ratio, we're going to have some wild circles. We could be ending on straight next to the rocks on stadium. It's going to be really interesting to see how the teams apply the strategies that has changed just since this meta has just updated just a month ago.
It'll be really interesting to keep an eye on as we see the stadium already starting to get a little bit compacted here. Mr. Guman by himself as Vitality is arriving. The rest of the Supers nowhere near here, so Guman
leaving.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Be pretty quick on the trigger there. Trying to get out, and he's just going to go ahead and rejoin Mr. Rex.
That's an alpha move, to be honest. You just 4-man roll up into stadium, assuming that the team that's looting there is already split out to some of these compounds. On other priorities that team already rolling in, try to get top